welcome everyone to the Titan Series Season 6 Premier Division Week 1. We are back with the Titan Series. It's actually crazy. I was thinking about it. We're going into Season 6. We've been doing this for close to 2 years now. Titan Series, it's great, right? For all regions out there, more specifically though, for North America, we get a good glimpse as to what they can bring to the table. We need some good North American shining stars to really showcase what this region is all about when it comes to Americas. I know they're strong, but they've got to prove it throughout the next 4 weeks. I'm your host, Taylor Reflections Noble, but I can't do the job alone. Let's go ahead and bring in our casters for the day. It's going to be Mustache Dave and Metalcore. Metalcore, what's going on, man? Welcome to Titan Series.
Thank you for having me, guys. Super excited to be here. I absolutely love PUBG Mobile Esports. I'm excited to see the Miramar match. That's like my favorite one to watch for esports. So I'm really excited what the teams are going to be pulling. I'm super proud to be here for the beginning of the season. You know, see me one more time later as a guest caster. So I'm super excited to be here, guys.
Absolutely, dude. It's great to have you, man. Loving your style, by the way. Is that what headband? You always do? You pull the headband? Is that your thing?
Hey, yo, wait. I'll whip it out just for you, brother. Check this out. We got the custom Metalcore headband. So yeah,
that's
it's
beautiful.
Just to hide that giant forehead. That's just how it is.
Hey, we're in the same boat, baby. I'm 33. The older I get, the hairline continues to go further back.
I'll send you some headbands, bro. I'll send you some headbands.
I have to wear it, man. I have to wear it. Hey, Dave, great to see you. Looking great as always. How you feeling, man?
Hey, feeling good. Looking forward to tonight. We're back with another Titan series. We got some teams. We got some players competing for some big money. So looking forward to big chilling here tonight with the homies.
Hey, big chillin' indeed. We're going to have a TriCast tonight. It's going to be fun, experimental. We'll see how it goes. I'm sure it's going to go just fine. Let's talk about how Titan Series Season 6 is going to work out. It's going to be a long journey for the competitors. We've got 4 total weeks, but granted, 3 total weeks of regular season. The chances to get into the Premier Finals. If you don't make it into Premier Finals, you're one of those bottom 6 teams. That's okay. You still have the Challenger Finals. Now, what is different about this season versus the previous seasons is this is a 2-day-a-week tournament. One day will not be on broadcast. Of course, I'm sure some of the competitors can stream it themselves, but that is yesterday. So yesterday, the competitors, they booted up into 4 lobbies. They played, so it's great. We're going to have some stats going into today, but we're also going to have the broadcast today, which is today. So interesting format. I actually like it. There's going to be a lot of stats to go around. We're going to be able to tell a complete story for all of you, but the meat and potatoes, 16 teams, top 10 qualify for Premier Finals. Bottom 6 will qualify for Challenger Finals. They'll have to fight it out once again across 80 Challenger teams in order to re-qualify into the Premier Finals. But what are they playing for? Well, Dave said it best. A lot of money. We're talking $20,000 on the line, $10,000 for first. Metalcore, that's a lot of money.
That is some shmoney for playing some mobile games right there.
That's a lot of shmoney indeed, brother.
Money.
$10,000, Dave. I don't know what you would buy. By the way, I did set up an IRA, so I know where it would go. Go straight into my IRA, Dave.
Yeah, I don't know, man. For me, I would just, go to the casino, bada boom, bada bang. Might as well. All right.
You lose it all, dude. It's gone.
That's what I'm saying. $10,000 in the bank, $10,000 out of the bank.
Positive thinking. Don't put that juju on me, all right?
You gotta wear a headband for good luck.
Yeah,
there you go. Headbands.
That's all I need.
All around. $10,000 in a headband for first place. Okay, that's what's on the line here when it comes to Titan Series Season 6 Premier Division. I love it. Let's talk about our teams, though. We've got 16 wonderful teams, and we're looking at several of them here. And some new faces. For example, Farvoice Gaming coming in. Maryland, NA also here. TGames Esports, 3 names there, just them, that, I haven't seen in the past necessarily. I'm sure the rosters are going to be very familiar. Metal, I'm going to go to you, though. As far as these orgs go, X Factor, XYQ, you've got a lot of familiar faces. Who do you like?
Is X Factor the one with Chiffon on it?
Manager / coach of. Yeah.
Oh.
Maybe playing on. Yes.
Oh, okay. That might be the one that I'll be looking out for. But I mean, I'm not gonna lie, all of their logos look absolutely amazing. I can't wait to see these players put in some action. I absolutely love watching PUBG Mobile Esports. So being here, it's just gonna be so exciting and super fun.
I think so, and I know, Dave, you're looking at Golden Eagles, man. Get a little caca going early, baby.
Whoa. Hey, I'm looking at a couple teams, right? Golden Eagles, sure, they're up there. They're at the top. #1 fan, still waiting for my jersey. But iNCO Gaming, I'm thinking they're coming back strong here this season. Same with Dauntless. So I got my eyes on a couple here, a couple squads here, reflections.
Yeah, I like iNCO a lot, given the fact that Wancho and Active on that roster.
Sure.
Two very, very talented players. Wancho, a staple when it comes to North American competition. If Hot Chooks was here, he'd be singing his praises to the.
What about Gary?
You know,
Gary's the main carry on that squad. Let's be real.
Hey, Gary's a great guy too. We talked about Gary quite a bit, not only through Titan Series, but other competitions in the past too. So you've got a lot of great teams here that you have to watch out for. I really do want to see NRG Galaxy though, and how well they're going to be able to perform. And the reason why is they've been around for a little bit. 24K is one of their staple players who stayed on the roster. They had a bout during the PMSL. I believe 24K is the only one returning there for that roster, if I'm not mistaken. But regardless though, for NRG Galaxy, that's a big organization to represent, and they at one point were the shining stars for North America and PMSL, and I want to see them return to that glory. Obviously, we've got some time until we get to that point, but that's a great roster that I can't wait to see how far they're going to be able to go. But as far as you go, Meadow, you did bring up, or excuse me, let's talk about standings before we get into that,
because this is day two. This is day two. Yep.
And this is day 2, Metal, right? So they played yesterday. They're coming into today with their current stats, and 0-2, leading the way by a long shot.
41 elims is absolutely insane in one day. That is almost double the other second place team, and I can't even imagine getting that many elims in this little amount of games. So that's insane. That's about 10 elims a game.
Which is crazy to think of, Dave. You got Baton, Crow, Foops, FSS, Capri might be on that roster too. I don't know if he's substituting or playing, but I mean, all 5 of those names, right, should instill fear into anyone competing throughout the Titan series.
Yeah, now I want to know, what does this squad have against the #1, right? How are we going to go from 0 to 2? Where's 1 in the mix? You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm thinking out here. So hopefully we can get the answer from the boys later. But like you said, we got Baton, we got Crow, we got Foops, FSS. These are some players that we've seen in North America for a hot minute now. So I am happy to see them forming a squad together and already just coming out the gate swinging.
Yeah, really, really excited for that FSS, coming from the X Factor roster that competed during PMSL. So he's got LAN experience. Obviously, this is played online, but that carries him far, and he did fairly well as far as I'm concerned. 0-2 might be forgetting the 1, but they're #1. That's where they picked it up, Dave. They picked it up by taking over the #1 spot. That was the strat all along. We go to page 2, and another a page with some familiar faces, Metal. Dauntless up there in 9th place, looking to break onto the top page.
Yeah, this is going to be crazy because it's already been one match, so I'm excited to see what these teams are going to be putting out throughout this next week of gameplay.
Without a doubt, and on Dauntless, right, you got Klaus. Klaus returning, Dave, a great competitor, a wonderful player, looking to really carry this roster onto the top page and maybe beyond.
Yeah, I'm looking at Klaus. You got Tensa. Tensa is the GOAT from North America, so hopefully we can see some really good plays from Tensa. Tommy Gun Tensa is what we used to call him back in the day. So we got Throne and Rose on the squad. So really curious to see what those 2 new players on the team, combined with the experience of Klaus and Tensa, what they could accomplish here. Oh, I just got word. Coops is throwing. So, okay. That changes it all. We got Coops. We got Tensa. Okay, this team is the squad. They're winning it. They're taking it all. I'm calling it right now. I'm glad
it all.
They're taking it all. I don't even care about 1-2. Dauntless, #1. At the end of this, I'm calling it. That's it. That's it.
So what about the next weeks? Right, we're only in week 1, and it's over. Okay,
it's over.
Fair enough.
It's already over. Give them the 10 grand. Give it to them now.
Give them the 10 grand. Everybody's playing for second. Well, here's your 4 maps for the day. It's gonna be 4 maps on the broadcast today's Erangel, Miramar, Sanhok, and then Erangel. And obviously, Meadow, you got to be excited for map number 2.
Oh, I absolutely love watching Miramar and Esports. It is one of the coolest maps with the coolest terrain, so I'm very excited. But Sanhok as well, that's going to be absolutely insane watching Sanhok play. with all these esports players. So I'm really excited. Another huge thing is since this game just got updated, and every single update they add new classic mode improvements and stuff. I'm wondering if we're going to see some of the new stuff like horses or like smoke grenade launchers. Those are some brand new things that they've been adding to the game, and they're not just part of the event modes, but they're also part of these classic experiences that the esports players play.
Horses.
Or the Frostborn dragon. What about that, Metal? What if they just flew in with the dragon? That'd be sick.
That's a boss, Dave, but I swear, they would just automatically win,
Give it a coup.
Automatically win if they get the dragon.
Yes, 100%.
I like it. Well, Metal, what is it about esports that you like, right? Obviously, you're a content creator. You've been around for quite some time. You got a huge passion for PUBG Mobile as a whole. What is it about esports that you like, and how long have you been interested in esports?
Oh, man, dude. I started doing a little bit of casting with Winsanity back in the day when, we didn't have all these fancy things like horses in PUBG Mobile. But honestly, I absolutely love that you can see mobile gamers play so competitive, so sweaty on their phones with PUBG Mobile, and the game continue to get improvement, continue to get more like resources to the esports and stuff like that. So I absolutely love that. On top of that, we see stuff like the ladies leagues, and we get to see the empowerment to women inside mobile gaming, which is absolutely amazing. So honestly, I mean, esports is a massive W. That's all I gotta say. Massive W.
Massive W, and I love that you said empowerment, and I think that's what it is. For esports, for me, it gives an opportunity for anybody to compete at their own level. Maybe you don't like traditional sports. Maybe you can't play traditional sports, but you can pick up a phone and you can play PUBG Mobile. It gives you an opportunity to express yourself in a competitive way, and that's why I love esports. I've loved esports for the past 12, 13 years. I know, Dave, you've also loved esports for a considerable amount of time, right? So it's fun to come in for the Titan Series, give an opportunity to make some great money, $10,000 for first place, and an opportunity really to prove yourself. Because, I mean, Dave, let's face it, right? Yeah. You never know. Your performance here in Titan Series could pick you up for PMSL or maybe even bigger stages in the future.
Yes, sir. I named my firstborn child esports. That's how much I love it. But yeah, I totally agree. Like, this is where it all starts every single season. We got 16 teams. 10 of these teams will be making it to the Premier Finals, and that's just another stepping stone within the esports ecosystem. So it all starts here, fellas.
All starts here, and we're about to get loaded into map number 1. I'm very excited. Hopping into Erangel, the bread and butter really, Metal, when it comes to esports, right? That map is usually played, obviously in this format, it's played twice out of the 4 maps we watch. If you're looking at PMSL, it's played 3 times, right? So, Metal, when it comes to Erangel, the players, it has to be their go-to map. If it's not, they're missing out on 50% of the opportunity in order to finish up in the top echelon of the leaderboard.
Oh yeah, it's the classic PUBG Mobile experience right there. Erangel and Hot Drop and Pachinki. I mean, I know all these teams are going to have their own different drop locations, but I'm curious to see if any of them are going to end up having some contest for any of the locations here, or if everybody's kind of going to go along their ways and we're going to see some crazy end games in today's broadcast.
Oh, I'm sure we'll get crazy end games.
I hope so.
I hope so too. I know bridge plays have been great. Well, actually, it's funny. Metal points out, Dave, about contestants. Now, Erangel, I don't know per se, but Ruins. All right, Sanhok, do you think we're going to get the Hey, gotta bring it back up into play. Metal, if you don't know, Ruins fight is always happening.
That's random. Sweaty. That's random to me.
That's the spot we die on this hill, right? In esports for some reason. I don't know why. But it is day number 2, so I have to assume some of these teams, they might have, dropped each other yesterday. Maybe we'll see it again here today, because we know North America squads, they're stubborn, and they just don't give up their desired spots. So will we see some hot drops? I think the chances are pretty high. So I'm with you, Metal. I love it right off the rip. Some action. That's exactly how I want to start my night here, with some good old hot drops, baby.
Oh, hot drops, baby. That's what we want to see. And I will say red light fever is a real thing. Some teams just perform a lot better when a broadcast, when they're getting casted over, and it puts them right back in Sao Paulo playing on the PMSL stage, right? So if I'm looking at like SLR, for example, they don't have the greatest of performance, especially yesterday. They finished in 15th place. They only have a total of 9 points, which is a far shot from 0-2, is currently in first at 72 points. So SLR, a team that performs at least historically, very well when it comes to Titan Series. I want to see them step it up here because this is their home stage. They're not the previous champs, but they're looking to become the champs once again. And after all, you got Kindness there, and Stars is also back on that roster. Metal, do any of those players ring a bell, right? Kindness, Stars. Stars is a really hyperactive player, super in your face.
You're putting me on the spot here. No, but I will learn them, and I'm excited to see what these players will end up, their performance and stuff in today, and then I'll see how they do on my second time doing the second casting. Yeah. So I'm excited to see what these players could put out. Some names familiar to me, like Juancho, and I heard a couple others, but Coops. Yes.
Coops.
See, Dave's been here long enough, like me. So it's really cool to hear familiar names and also hear new names because mobile gaming, specifically PUBG Mobile, is almost 7 years old, and there's still new people that are playing this game, and there's still like esports. This like Dave said earlier, this is like the stepping stone into the further, crazy prize pools that PUBG Mobile has. So it's honestly really, really cool that something like this can have such a massive prize pool of $20,000, and then you could see something like the World Championship with like $1 million plus, and it's just really crazy to see that for mobile gaming.
$1 million plus. Isn't that crazy to think? You could be playing a mobile game and earning $1 million plus. Not even counting obviously the salary if you get on a big organization, right?
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Things get crazy, and then you start building a brand like you, Metal, right? And then you start, your YouTube channel, and you start your socials, and then it just kind of, snowballs into just your own personal brand, which is pretty magnificent. And that's what I like about esports and the transition into content creation. It does transition well as far as I'm concerned, much like we're transitioning into map number 1. The start of the Titan Series Season 6 Premier Division is about to be underway, at least for day 2 of week 1. Our first chance to really see what these competitors are all about. Why is 0-2 in first place? Why is SLR in 15th alongside Shining Legacy in dead last? I don't know, but we're about to find all that out and more. Metal was calling for a contention off the start, so I'm hoping our observers are ready to go because I'm ready to see some tussle with the muscle. Who's ready to fight it off? Dave, let's find out.
Let's see. We're looking for some hot drops here. Map number 1, day 2. We got 4 games here tonight. Looking for some action. I'm looking at Dauntless all night long. We got Tensa. We got Coops. Bringing it back for the boys out here. But right off the rip, we got to keep our eyes here, Metal. We have to pay attention, like Reflection said. 0-2. Like, what is the secret sauce for 0-2? Yesterday, 40 total eliminations. Like, that is crazy in only 4 matches. So I agree with you, Metal. This squad, they got the sauce, and I'm looking forward to kind of seeing what it looks like here today. When we're now on like a live feed on camera, we get to watch it with our own eyes.
Yeah, maybe they just had a really, really solid day. But I mean, today we're going to see their secret sauce is the first live broadcast of the brand new season of Titan Series. So let's see how all these competitors fare out. And this is honestly a perfect lane path. So I'm really excited to see how everybody's going to use and where the zone's going to end up shifting. There we go. Okay, look at that zone. That's crazy. All the way up in the north near Stalber. We'll see where that ends up. It's like this zone right here is there's going to be, oh, hey, look at this. We already got fighting going on.
Right, so Maryland all ready to fight against Dauntless, and this is not what Maryland wants, right? Dauntless is a heavy-hitting team, and they consistently are that heavy-hitting roster, and especially with Knives Out, like, that's not what you want, but Tensa, he's got a gun, he's gunning them all out, and Maryland is starting to fall to the wayside. In fact, only one more player remains, and, well, that player is off in a distance, and he can't help but look, Dave, at Dauntless as they wipe 3 of his teammates.
Baby Tang out here just trying to remain hidden behind the boulder with this bright neon pink outfit on. I did see Klaus with the VSS, so definitely not the weapon you want your opponent to have while they're on the hunt. So right off the rip, there goes Dauntless catching some eliminations very early on here, Metal.
That's exactly what I wanted to see. Although the fight happened at one of the brand new locations where you actually automatically get any vehicle that you want. So it was kind of not what I expected, but what I am glad to see.
Glad to see indeed, man. Well, there it is. First fight is done. Well, not completed fully. We'll see if Maryland can last. At this point, they're going for placement points, right? That's kind of what it's all about. But for Dauntless, they come out swinging. You like to see that. Dauntless, again, is a very, very talented roster. As we look at XYQ, though, 4 members that, I got to be honest, I'm not necessarily familiar with. Valak does ring a bell a bit. But, you know, for XYQ, can't wait to see what they can do. And the same thing goes for Farvoice Gaming, much like Maryland just earlier. You know, these rosters, these names that I'm not as familiar with, how well can they do? And Dave, I actually go to you. Farvoice Gaming, you know, any intel about this roster?
We got Nate. You know, Nate's been one of the grinders for a good minute now. So hopefully with his experience, we'll be able to really pull through. But yeah, like you said, one of the new additions when it comes to a squad here in North America. And when you are a new team, it really comes down to putting a name out for yourself, right? You're a new roster, you're a new squad representing a new organization or whatnot. You got to show up, you know, because right now you really don't have a name. People aren't looking at you. They're not watching the VOD, seeing what you're doing. So these newer squads, they really have a lot of potential, I'm going to say, to show up here, especially up against some of the veterans in PUBG Mobile.
The veterans, right? The veterans who know exactly what they need to do. Veterans, much like Metal. So let's talk about it. You were excited, Metal, about this zone, right? Going up as far north as you could possibly go, but that could spell trouble for the teams who are in the southern portions, you know, like we're looking at Military, Primorsk, the teams who have to rotate up. What's your strat, right? What are you doing, Metal? Are you trying to get to the next zone as quickly as possible? You looking to play Gatekeeper on the other rosters fighting against Papa Blue? How are you going about it?
You know what? You are asking the #1 professional here for PUBG Mobile. Classics, so. Classics, not these crazy custom rooms with the best players in North America. But honestly, I feel like this is nothing to worry about at the moment because zone isn't going to tick too badly on these people while they're getting the perfect loot that they can for these end zones. So I know that when the end zones start happening, there's less cover and less big areas in this section of the map. The only area that I could see that's like a huge city is Razak and Yaz.
Okay. And Razak currently has Team 14 there, which is TGames just on the outside.
TGames.
So, yeah, and they can play that Gatekeeper, Dave, which, interestingly enough, Team 13 starts to move up, which is going to be SLR, Super Lazy Reflex, who has definitely had their struggles. I don't think any fights are going to be taking place between them just yet, but I do like that SLR is starting to move up and take priority within a zone, a team that's definitely had their struggles, at least from the first day, right? So, they've got some heavy hitters. I mentioned Stars earlier, right? I love watching him play. I missed him at PMSL. I'm glad that he's back, and I can't wait to see what he can do in Titans.
Yeah, not only that, but historically looking at SLR, they've been a team that they like to take their time. They like to rotate into the zones very late, and they caught a lot of criticisms because of that, right? So just the fact that we're seeing them here today already being proactive, already looking for that centralized position within the zone, looking to hold it down, that's already a positive, in my opinion, looking at SLR here tonight.
Oh, fair enough. So maybe lessons learned, right? We want to see improvements. That's something Hotjukes is consistently saying on the desk. It's like, you know, it's not necessarily about the performance now. It's about the performance later. Are we seeing an improvement? And for NRG, a big name, taking down a couple of members of Ace of Spades. So good on them for doing so. NRG Galaxy, I want to see how well they're going to be able to represent themselves and the organization. They were a heavy hitter in PMSL. They've changed it up a little bit, but they're here and they're still looking good. So the first zone is starting to close in. The teams are now starting to rotate up. There are a couple of stragglers out there. For example, team number 3 kind of taking the time. The Golden Eagles, they're on the hot metal.
That's a TikTok clip right there. And with the red dot, that's insane. I'm more of a 2x guy, but I know that these esports guys don't love the 2x, so chat's going to have to help me out on that one. Hopefully I get some 2x scope love. But it's going to be crazy to see all these teams coming into zone as zone starts shifting on the teams that are outside of zone. But like I said, I mean, we still got a team in Military Island. And, you know, as long as they got the meds, they'll be fine for a little bit.
Yeah, I guess it's not ticking too hard, is it? But they are going to have to get on the move. That's Ace of Spades, who, again, lost a player a little bit earlier. So they're going to have to go across that bridge, which on the right side does seem like there might be a potential gatekeeping. Dave, I'm looking at that straight out of Nepal. If they decide to stay there, Ace of Spades could be in big trouble.
Yeah, and this might be a effect from yesterday's matches, right? All it takes is some VOD review. Maybe straight out of Nepal recognize that Ace of Spades do like to drop military base, and straight out of Nepal trying to take advantage of that here tonight, being proactive with it, right? So love to see these players look ahead, look not at the current zone, but the zone ahead and the one after that, just being proactive, really trying to capitalize on elimination points, because elimination points are crucial. We've seen it almost every single tournament, Reflections. Elimination points is where a lot of the top teams get most of their points for the leaderboard. That is. But next circle goes up. We're going to Stalber, fellas.
We are. Battle, look at that. So now we're getting the utmost northern zone. You got a little bit of water in play too. But now, again, it just makes things even more awkward for those teams who are, like, for example, down there in military, who have to now rotate up. You got to go as far north as possible. Look at all the vehicles. Right?
Yes, I was about to say that. There's so many vehicles. Almost every single person in the game has a vehicle, because they all know that this zone shift is so deadly. There are only so many buildings in this area of the map, and now every single big city is out. Now, I think maybe a little bit of Severny, or no, Severny is just, no Severny at all. That's crazy. This is what I like to see. Crazy zones that we normally never see, that we get to see some crazy action. We got to see how these players are going to be using their vehicles to their advantage, using their smokes. I did see some players, I know that you could see in the spectator client, you could see like what weapons they have. I did see some players with that brand new smoke grenade launcher, which takes up your secondary slot. So it doesn't take up both your primaries, it takes up your pistol slot. So if you want to have some extra smokes, if you got that extra space, I'm excited to see people use that. That's a brand new thing that just came out in this update.
Oh, man, Stalber's about to see a lot of action, Dave. There's 3 teams now getting congested. Metal mentioned, right, those hardcover POIs. There's not a lot of them, especially in this northern zone. And meanwhile, you also have a drag race taking place right out here in an open field, and iNCO Gaming's on the hunt.
Got some drive-by action happening over here with the suppressed shotgun. iNCO trying to capitalize on this one, trying to take shots at I and F. We got the Golden Eagles up there in the north on the road as well. And like you said, Stalber, we got about 3 different squads really trying to play king of the hill right now. So everybody just trying to find a foothold in what is a very challenging circle here. For the most part, we're looking at maybe 3 teams not in the circle yet, but there's not a lot of terrain to work with. I mean, still the entire lobby is alive. Yeah, MD, they lost 3 of their squad mates early on, but besides that, like, everybody's still alive. So this next circle shift, it's going to be a bloodbath.
It is. It's going to be a bloodbath indeed. Now, I will give some respect to the teams on the outskirts. For example, Golden Eagles. I like where they're currently at, hanging out more towards the water. Depending on where the zone collapsed, they could be in a favorable position. Stalber most likely is going to continue to be within zone, at least for the next 2 or 3. I would have to assume anyways. That's why it's getting so much activity. For the rest, though, using natural coverage is going to be imperative. It's going to be so difficult, especially if you start getting into fights, in which case, case point, I start to look at straight out of Nepal, who are now starting to break Papa Blue. They were in there for quite some time. They go through Severny, and they look to be running straight head in to Dauntless. So, Metal, I think Dauntless as well as straight out of Nepal might be getting into a fight relatively soon.
Yeah, they're either going to get in a fight or they're going to see that new zone shift, and they're going to have to push out into that new zone. So we'll see what they end up doing. This could be a squad wipe for one of these teams here. Why is everybody I'm looking at when I'm casting, they got red dots on their M4s every single time?
That's a strat.
That's the new strat. I mean,
That's
maybe this is definitely going to be really hard, because you can see that everybody has been using different types of cover, vehicles, rocks. This is one of the rare times we actually have a building. Everybody using shotguns as well.
XP3 laying it down right there. Tensa was confirmed and Throne was on his approach, but X3 with the 1v4 essentially right there, just showing up, throwing that grenade right there. Now here comes Coops on the outskirts with the shotgun with the support, trying to get the cross angle here. XP drawing a lot of attention. XP though looking for the squad wipe. Let's see if they can get it.
See if he can. Got Blaze as well, looking to cover some angles. Maybe not seen as most. XP3, though, still trying to hold it down as much as possible. You mentioned
no.
And now it's up to Coops, right? Coops has to try and go big in this moment. Metal, he's got a large basket.
There we go.
The veteran gets it done, Metal.
Carrying his team out of that shotgun battle. It seems like shotguns are the main secondary for these close quarter fights.
That is right. That's right. Esports plays a little bit differently,
baby.
right? You know, when you think about regular pubs, right, you've got a lot to use, dragons, horses. But when it comes to esports, you know,
hey, I saw a
it
horse
takes
right there.
I would take a dragon over a shotgun, but yeah.
Well, without a doubt. I mean, who wouldn't? Okay,
Yeah,
dragons
yeah.
are great. You can ride them. You can spit out fire. You can do a lot with the dragon, bro. But a shotgun, at least in Coop's hand, come on, he can clutch up a fight and carry the team anyways. And that's exactly what they do for NRG. Bit of a tussle with the muscle at the moment. I believe that's against Golden Eagles down low. And iNCO, they're in hot metal.
Woo! Crashing on that compound, putting pressure. And now this means that there's going to be third parties.
It is getting wild out here. It is getting wild. iNCO trying to crash here, trying to take advantage of the third-party potential. Gary catched a couple bullets to the dome right there. NRG going to be eliminated. Yeah, now it's up to Trolls on the outskirts from the Golden Eagles with his grenades, really trying to flush out iNCO in that compound over there. But look at this, our first place team in the lobby, 0-2. Already with 2 eliminations over here on the opposite side of that fight. It's heating up, fellas.
It's heating up indeed, as we expected, right? Especially when those zones get closer and closer. The teams have no choice but to fight it out. And for Golden Eagles, they're just trying to survive. I liked where they were on the outskirts, kind of hanging around towards the water, but eventually they had to move their way up. They wanted that hard cover, but then they had to fight through several rosters. Dauntless is one of them. iNCO, who is just so aggressive, and Trolls cannot handle the heat. Golden Eagles will be eliminated. And by the way, we started off this game with Maryland going, against one of the, I believe it was SLR if I'm not mistaken, but they ended up getting taken down a little bit earlier in 16th place. We knew that Solo was alive, just to update you there in case you are a fan of Maryland. But X Factor on the outskirts themselves, what can they do? This is another big roster, Dave, right? Another big namesake, not only in Titan Series, but also PMSL and other leagues.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I mean, they already lost 2 of their squad mates all at this point in the match, right? But fortunate for them, they were able to find a little compound, a little shack to hunker down for the time being. The only issue is they got 0-2 right on their foothill, so they got to be very careful not to overextend and expose those angles. So honestly, as a duo at this point in the game, just survive, try to get some placement points, maybe a third party here and there. But besides that, hopefully not get tilted, right? I mean, that's what they really need to do. Just focus on that next match at this point.
So, Metal, we have 11 teams left. Okay, we got 11 teams. We're getting deep into the stages, about to be into stage 5 in just a couple of minutes. Stauber looks to be out of play at this point. So now it's all about this hilly terrain, open fights. This is going to get testy, right, for these esports these esport professionals who, really have to fight it out. How are you going about it, Metal, right? Because now you really don't have any hard cover. You got to avoid cars. You got to avoid rogue shots, third parties. What's your strat?
I feel like high ground might be the game here, but
sure,
as you can see right now, high ground almost giving them the advantage there, but it looks like all the third parties is going to make it hard for these teams to get out of this one alive.
Ooh, it's that 0-2. 0-2's falling a little bit. This might be the first sign of blood really being shed for them. They do have 5 eliminations. They've done considerably well from this point, but now you only got Capri last alive. He has no choice but to just run downhill and hope and pray nobody is behind him, and luckily he does get away. Now, we've seen solos, Dave, carry their team and go quite far. Capri is looking to do that, but whoever he's fighting, Ace of Spades, not giving up. He gets one down, but it's not going to be enough, Dave. He was just in an impossible situation.
5 eliminations though, so great start to game number 1. Just unlucky that they were trying to flush out that enemy squad, right? And Ace of Spades is right over that hill, looking right at him with the third party with the angle right there. But now Ace of Spades kind of getting caught in the blender. Versa with the boulder trying to get this loot here, but we see the duo from X Factor just cover fire in this boulder, trying to get the blind shots through the smoke and maybe even connect on the Versa and take them out here.
It's an opportunity. Bursa. I even try to go for the res. Relatively safe to do so. It just takes such a long time. One thing about esports, Metal, is the use of utility, right? These pros are always 100%. Using utilities, smokes, nades, anything they can get their hands on, and especially when we get towards these final zones, wait for some fireworks to start popping off.
Yes. I mean, I'm always in the game with, like, maybe 4 smokes, but whenever I see these guys' inventories, they got, like, 10 plus to make sure to use them. Those 10, that is gold to them. I swear smokes are definitely one of the most important things in esports.
I would say so. I mean, especially whenever you're in an open field like this. Smokes might be your only way to be able to rotate out and find new coverage, whether it be a berm or, in this case, right for free points for X-Force, who's on the edge. Let's say he's getting, peppered up. Maybe he smokes, gets in a vehicle, and drives off as he's currently doing. And for X-Force, free point. He's got a couple of options in front of him, but I don't know if he wants to engage on anybody just yet. SLR might be an option, but not going to be an easy fight there, Dave.
It's going to be tough. We can see nice little angle here with the camera. They are right smack in between 2 different squads. You got FV up on the high ground, and then you got SLR down below in the little Harry Potter tower. So Force really trying to pick and choose where they want to breach into this next play zone. I did see Bay trying to keep SLR at bay, allowing his squad mates, the trio up here in the north, to kind of deal with FV. But all in all, X-Force, they're just in a challenging position right now.
Lord, they are. There's your smokes, right, Metal? He has to use that, and that's going to give him a little bit of coverage. Not necessarily hard cover, but at least visible cover, enough to at least hill up. Now, Farvoice, Metal, I like where they're at. They're on top of this hill. They can see everybody below them, and everyone has to rotate either into them or around the hill. And so, therefore, Farvoice should have a big advantage here, but X-Force knows this, and they want to pressure him.
The way these hills are set up is actually going to make these fights extremely hard, no matter if you're on the high ground or not. So we'll see if they're going to be able to keep it. This is a bloodbath going on. All I hear are shotguns and M4s.
Here comes the third party as well. SL showing up, trying to get involved here. Nate in the dirt with the shotgun, getting that quick confirmation right there. Free Point still in the back lines, cooking a grenade, gonna be tossing it. Take that, Nate, is what Free Point just said. So Free Point is doing a lot of work, but honestly, fellas, SL on the high ground with the mini red zone, they are just destroying these 2 squads.
Shining Legacy did a good job with 2 players up ahead. And notice, Dave, they also have 2 players to their right. So that was really just 2 cleaning up with their utility and understanding that they had the high ground. They utilized that very well. That gets me excited because I'm thinking, like, Shining Legacy understands their positioning and where they need to be properly despite the split. Meanwhile, iNCO, Dauntless, 2 powerhouse teams going at it. And Dave, Dauntless, a big name that started off with the first eliminations. They're looking to get first place. The teams are dwindling away. But iNCO's not giving up.
Coops down. Coops is like, I'm safe. And XP's like, all right, I trust you. Next thing you know, 3 members of iNCO just crashed that hillside. Now we got iNCO, a trio, SLR, a trio right now. They do have the whole squad alive. All right. Ling going to be pulling up as well, making this a 3v4 situation. There goes Gary down and out. Looks like SLR with the hilltop, with the rock cliffside. They are just flushing out what was left of iNCO. The teamwork right there was beautiful, by the way.
It was. There was a lot of pressure there from iNCO and Dauntless and SLR. They have the vernacular to be able to third party. That is brilliant. That's why they're now at 7. Told you that red light fever, right? SLR's got it. They put that red light on. They know they're live. They're getting casted over, and they're about to make a big jump from 15th to who knows how far at the end of these 4 games. Shining Legacy, Metal. They impressed me, but not with that nade. It happens, though, Metal.
I love watching stuff like this because you never see gameplay like this with Classics is what I play. So we get to see so many smokes, so many grenades. Like you said, they are using their utilities. It's like they use all their utilities before they start using the guns, depending on the range.
Well, get that additional damage, right? So you can push up, Metal, right? Isn't that important? Because you want your team, or you want your opponents to be as weak as humanly possible. Look at Highman. He has to heal up, but let's say they do decide to push him. He's one shot. Then you just have to focus on one more full health player. It makes life a lot easier. Utility is your friend.
Yes, especially with these teams here, they know how to time these grenades, time these smokes, and it's crazy to see, like you said, the fireworks going off.
Well, here we are, Dave, down to what, 5 teams left? That's it. And Hyman from X Factor's getting pressured, and well, he's putting up a good fight at least, and maybe he might be able to get the job done. He's got the off angle. He's getting some great damage, but he misses too many shots. And SL, Shining Legacy, will continue to stay up. They've got 4 players still remaining. And X Factor, though, Dave, they might be able to get it done.
1v2 situation, SL. They're doing a great job at really flushing out X Factor. There we go. Vortex with the off angle, the Vector able to really seal the deal. But it came down to the wire. Now, Shining Legacy, they're getting third-partied from across the way from an SLR squad mate actually up here. Stars up here on the high ground with the Scar.
All right, Stars, a star-studded player from SLR. All 4 members remaining. Metal at this point, you gotta favor SLR. With 4 members remaining, great positioning over top. They may not have the hard cover, but they are going to be able to focus fire everyone who's in those buildings trying to work their way up through the high ground. Meanwhile, you still have SLR having some priority inside the building.
This might be their game.
I think so.
9 eliminations. Yeah, they're killing it here.
They're cooking.
They're cooking. They got zone priority. They got the entire circle pretty much themselves. They got it mapped out right now. They just need to make sure that their off angle doesn't get traded out here, because On Ying playing such a crucial role to really keep those teams in the north pinned down for the time being.
Shooting out the tires too. Smart play. Don't want them to get out with the vehicles, because that's the quickest way to rotate out after all. And I do like this split. I mean, he's free and clear, basically. He doesn't have anybody around him. He could just kind of just chill up here and play that linchpin, if you will, right? So you pull the linchpin, the grenade blows up, boom. All of a sudden now you got An Ying. He's up top, focus firing everybody that's being pressured from the other members of SLR. This is looking like a winner-winner chicken dinner as far as I'm concerned. A massive game coming out from them. And meanwhile, for everybody else, curious, what do they do? For the remaining members of Inferno, for example, they're on the edge, but they've got to be careful. They got Ace of Spades to their backside, who might be able to gun them down. SLR then is going to be ready for a third party, but Ace of Spades seems as if they've got their mind made up, and that's going to be some nice shots onto Shining Legacy.
Yeah, just buying some time right now. Versa trying to get any type of points possible before moving forward here into this next play zone. INF, they got the hard cover to work with for the time being. They're safe for now, but honestly, SLR, like we said, they just got the entire zone mapped out. I'm confident that they know exactly where their opponents are at this point in the game, so they're going to play this one nice and slow and just wait for their opponents to get into conflicts and then third party them and get the win. So this is 100% an SLR winner chicken dinner if they could just pull it together.
That's it. I'm in agreeance, man. I'm in agreeance. SLR's looking too strong at the moment. They're looking like the SLR that the Titan series deserves, right? We talked about how good they are in Titan series typically, and this is the team that I expect. For Versa, he might be able to get this, and Nade's being cooked. It's going to become a little bit short, though. So for Ace of Spades, they might be able to get 2 up if that Nade doesn't connect, and it does. But they still, They still got up!
Clutch revive right there. Versa still alive, getting the heal up. Looking at the utility. They have some grenades to work with, so if Ace of Spades, if the duo could just together toss in some grenades, they might be able to get some knocks over there. With Star, with the off angle, really going to play spoiler for Ace of Spades.
Stars is chilling. Well, he does take quite a bit of damage, but again, Ace of Spades are not in a good position. It's going to be so hard to work their way up. One's already going to fall. That's TN getting 1 elimination onto Versa. Kiddo will also fall. We're now down to top 2. Inferno Esports versus SLR, a 4v3. One team with 11 eliminations, the other with just a single, but both guaranteed at least second place. Inferno, heavy damage onto the SLR members up ahead, but the heavy damage is going to be returned. These are the final 2 players. Who do you got winning?
SLR's got the full squad, the high ground. This is 100% their game. We'll have to see where the zone shifts, but it looks like SLR might be on top with their full team.
They definitely are. Pig.
Both literally and possible first place.
That's it. That's it. I think SLR's got this, just like Dave said, 100%. I do look. Inferno does have to move up, don't they?
Yeah, just a little bit.
They've got to move up.
Just a little bit.
Is a hard cover out, though? Is hard cover in zone?
All their vehicles, they can't use their vehicles. They only can rely on their smoke wall here.
This is where they get eliminated here, fellas.
Oh,
or not.
Oh.
Or not.
Ain't no way. Hold up, Pig. He's got it, though. That's one down. I think one more remains from Inferno. Smoke's out, but it's going to dissipate. Look, he's got two to the left, or two to the right, one to the left, and there it is, a GG. A winner, chicken dinner, super lazy, Reflex first place, and 14 eliminations, Dave.
That's huge. Shout out to Inferno, by the way. I love their outfit choices. I think the whole squad had the flaming skin on, which was pretty cool to see. Now I get where they get their name from. But yeah, huge come up for SLR, right? They were in 15th place from yesterday's 4 games, coming into map number 1 today. 14 eliminations. That is wild right there. So it's almost equivalent to 2 chickens almost, right? That's right. Coming into game number 1. So that is exactly what SLR needed to get that momentum flowing here tonight, fellas.
That's it. And Metal, I told you at the beginning, I said, well, do you know Stars? Now you know Stars, right? He's a great player. He's super polarizing. You know, when he's hitting shots and he's feeling good, he's loud, he's proud, he gets into the opponent's faces, right? When things go bad, though, it can be a bit intimidating. He needs strong teammates to be able to accept that and take that energy from him, and then obviously transpose that into a victory. But Metal, you impressed by SLR, right? 14 eliminations, a win. They looked good.
Yes. I mean, we had the other team. Their name was getting
Inferno.
their names. 0-2 was the other team that we thought were going to be putting these crazy elims out there. But it looks like SLR is stepping up to the table. But maybe Erangel was their map. You know, this is their map, or maybe the zone was just perfect into them. So I'm excited to see what SLR is going to do for the rest of the 3 games for today's broadcast.
Well, let's put it to you this way, Metal, right? So SLR was in 15th place at the start of the day. Based off the performance yesterday, they only had a total of 9 points. So they get more eliminations than the total amount of points that they got across the 4 maps yesterday, right? So that is a big performance from SLR and a huge step up. I like this fight from Dauntless, man. And it went on for quite some time. This was actually at the very start in XP3. We were saying his name consistently, Dave. Gonna be on the lookout for him, but also on the lookout for Coops, man, because he ended up clutching up.
Yeah, Dauntless walked away with 7 eliminations here. This game number 1, XP3 with 3 of those, and Throw-In, aka Coops, with 3 of those, Tensa with 1. So although we didn't see them in the late game, Dauntless still coming in match number 1 with a really good amount of eliminations. And I think the same could be said with 0-2, right? They had 5 eliminations, so they should be able to stay afloat when it comes to the overall leaderboards, even though they didn't really get good placement points. But the issue I'm starting to have is if that's going to be the entire day, right? If that's the entire day for 0-2, maybe they're the opposite of the red light effect and what you're saying, Reflections. Maybe when we are watching them, maybe they do get a little nervous, and that's when they start to crumble, possibly.
You know, that's a possibility. It really is. You know, when there's a lot of pressure on when you know you have a live viewership, when you know there's casters casting over you, all eyes are on you, you don't know what they're saying, you can kind of overthink that. It can really start to have a negative effect on your performance. And that's why I look at teams, Metal, such as SLR, because they've got some star-studded players who have great history to be put in high-pressure situations, not only on land, but also online, right? You have to take that into account. And for SLR, when the red light fever is on, when the pressure is on, look at what they are able to accomplish, Metal. 24 points, 14 more than that who is even closest, which is Shining Legacy.
That is a huge game for them. And like you said, if they only had 9 points for yesterday's games, this is huge for SLR. So it's definitely going to be really crazy to see what they're going to do for the next 3 games. If this was just like that perfect match for them, or if this is their perfect day.
Sure. Well, I also like Shiny Legacy. I want to talk about them, Dave, because they impressed me. And they did so by high risk, high reward. They were like, they had this 2-2 split pretty consistently, Dave.
Yeah.
And it netted them a 3rd place with 5 elims.
Yeah, we really started to see the 2-2 split take effect in that mid to late game, right? And Vortex was one of those off angles from the squad. He was able to net 4 eliminations, almost 500 damage done. But yeah, the Shining Legacy, definitely a wild card for me personally. This was not a team that was on my radar at all. But based off of their strategy that we saw from them in match number 1, you could tell they've been, practicing, they've been doing their homework, and you could tell they got a game plan, and that's what you love to see here in competitive.
Sure, definitely so. And we look at the overall 0-2, they're going to stay in first place, Metal, and that's based off of their day 1 performance. But iNCO, they want to start catching up. They were in 2nd place. They don't necessarily have the best game number 1, but they didn't do too bad either with 6 eliminations in 6th place. But imagine if they go into late game, maybe they get another 10 points to bring it to 60 to 77. But regardless, though, on this list, who stands out to you? I think it's got to be SLR, right? Going from 15th all the way to 5th.
Yes, 100%. And that's why one game can mean so much, especially on these early days. You got to just keep racking up those points because this is a multi-day tournament.
Multi-day tournament indeed, and every day counts. That's crazy, Dave. SLR goes from 15th to 5th place. It just comes to show you, yeah, we've been focused on 0-2 being as high up as they were, but the rest of the teams are still very close in the points category.
Yeah, exactly. And that was kind of like the next point is that we are so early on. We are so I know we only got 4 games a day, etc., but we're still very early on within the tournament, and all it takes is one really good game like we just saw from SLR, and boom, you're already right back at the top, one of the main talking points of the broadcast. So that potential is there for every single team in the lobby still right now.
That's it. Metal, take note, by the way, you said we're still super early, right? But remember at the beginning of our cast, Dave was like, oh, this team is 100% going to win.
Oh, they're still going to win. Dauntless are going to win. Sure. That doesn't change, but we are early for other teams to at least get 2nd place. I mean, that's a fact.
Sounds like maybe Dave is just a fanboy,
He is always. That's what he does.
Ball.
He does have the crystal ball. He does have and I've got the candle, which is not lit, and maybe we'll light it later on. Hey, that's game number 1 on Erangel. Super lazy Reflex looking incredibly strong. Winner, chicken dinner, 14 elims, 15th place to 5th. How high can they go? Well, that's up for the rest of the rosters to decide. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, though, we'll be moving into map 2 of 4 on Miramar. And welcome back, everyone, to the Titan Series Season 6 Premier Division Week 1, day number 2. Technically, they played yesterday, but we just had a chance to see them for the first time today on broadcast. And what a load of fun it was. SLR, I mean, looking great, looking like the team we expect them to be in the Titan Series. I'm Taylor Reflections, double joined by Mustache Dave and Metalcore. Metal, game number 1 is done. How you feeling about it, right? Esports, it's exciting. A little bit different, though, right, than the pubs and Classic, right, which is what you normally play.
You know, I'm just glad to see, I saw one horse that entire match. I'm glad somebody used that as a vehicle, but the horse starts walking away from you. So it's not as good as a vehicle because, you know, vehicles don't just run off like that.
Well, and can you run people over with the horse?
I don't think so.
Okay, because that's the benefit, right? When it gets really, really weird in those open zones and we start seeing the car plays, that's the thing. And you saw it, Metal, right? Remember we looked at what I think it was Zone 1 or Stage 1, that whole northern zone, how many vehicles were on the map, right? Everybody's just trying to grab them up as quickly as possible. So they're a lethal weapon just as much as they're useful for transportation, Metal.
Yes. And honestly, one of those vehicles was a horse. One of those guys was booking it up to Stallber.
You like that horse?
I just love it. I love it. And with this update too, I keep on bringing up the fact that there's new improvements to the classic experience in this update. But I just love the fact that they are adding those improvements. Now when vehicles stop, you switch seats, they start rolling. They don't just completely stop. So these little improvements will have major impacts to these players like these ones who are doing esports competitively.
Which is always interesting, getting an updates in esports. It kind of goes hand in hand. It requires these professionals. It's not like, basketball or like traditional sports where everything stays relatively the same. Like esports is very unique, Dave, because you have to constantly roll with the punches, roll with the updates, and honestly redesign your entire strategy at certain points to remain competitive.
Yeah, and talking about rolling with the punches, I mean, you're going to have to do that the rest of the season because I'm glad SLR, they got their one good game done, for the season. So good for them, man. Will we see another match from SLR popping off like that again, Reflections? Oh. I don't know. All right. I don't know. So I'm looking for it. I'm here for it. I hope they prove me wrong, but I used to be a SLR believer back in the day, and I was just let down too many times, right? And I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer or whatnot. I'm just being realistic. So hopefully this is a new SLR squad. Obviously we got some new players on it, but we still got like Stars, one of the OGs, and hopefully all that experience will really come through with the new roster. And this is going to be like one of the best teams in North America. I just need to see it. All right, one game, sure, it was phenomenal, but I need to see more, fellas.
All right, well, let's see more, right? Moving into match 2 of 4, we're going into Miramar. Exciting times, an opportunity for SLR to prove once again that they want to be at the top of the food chain after these 4 maps. And what a rise that would be if they go from 15th to first place. It's a massive jump, and who knows? It could be possible if SLR continues to drop 14 elimination winner chicken dinner bangers like they just did a little bit before. So Miramar, here we are, and Metal, I know you're happy. Again, to go back to it, you said this is one of your favorite maps. Tell me why. Like, what is it about Miramar? The open landscape? Maybe you just like, I don't know, everything to be the same color. What is it about Miramar you like?
Oh, you're just saying because it's a desert, it's just bland. Miramar,
That's right.
Miramar is beautiful. It has some of the most unique terrain in all of PUBG Mobile, and a map that is like a mobile exclusive like Livik does take some, aspects from Miramar into that map. But I love that you could be in a random area like we were in Erangel last match, and they'll be covered. There'll be random little hills, random little things here. That's what makes Miramar so fun, because you don't have to be in one of the big cities to be able to have a good fight.
Okay, so already a start, or a big fight, I should say, off the rip. And mind you, take note of that zone. That zone all the way to the right-hand corner. That's going to be interesting for teams such as Shining Legacy, who's going to have to rotate out. But for X-Force, already in an engagement against NRG. Metal, let's see how it goes down.
I think X-Force took out the only player that was there. But it was crazy to watch them fight that, because these players, they are used to having all their, their kit. They at least have the gear they needed, all the smokes. But early game like this, they might have to pick up the weapons off the ground and use them. And it might not be their, most used weapon like an M4 or a shotgun. We could see Boku's here using a Uzi.
Against TGames too. So Farvoice, TGames, two newer rosters, I should say, or two newer names when it comes to Titan Series. Forced to fight it out. You got 3 people literally blocking that central choke point in that doorway. And for Unknown, he wants to break through, Dave.
Yeah, and we saw Scottish actually grenaded himself, so that set the squad back a little bit. They were able to get the revive onto Scottish, but that allowed TGames to kind of get that angle on that doorway. And now they are just cornered here. So it's really going to come down to who can hit those shots. And SNX with the shotgun. We got TG on the rooftops, just anticipating the push out. So both squads going to be pumping the brakes here just a little bit. I'm not even sure Nate has a weapon. Okay, I see Nate picking up something over there, looking for some meds, was able to pick up the UMP. But both of these squads, they are just down to whatever they can find on the floor, and that is not much.
All right. Malcone is able to get one at least onto Nate. Good on him for doing so. That's going to put at least TG in a little bit of more of an advantageous position. Papi Triste, love seeing him compete throughout the Titan series. A regular here. I love Papi Triste, great competitor, and always brings his A game. And he's looking to do so onto Scottish. I love this nerd angle. I don't know if he's going to be able to see anybody, but I love the creativity. And he actually does spot Scottish, but Papi Triste drops down. But Dave, at least I love the attempt.
There's Spider-Man out there. So, dude was caught. So Unknown with the shotgun still on the rooftop. TG with 3 of their squad mates still alive. Unknown going to be making the breach now into the building. AKM in hand, little lean peek. Pre-fire action right there. Was almost able to get the knock on his opponent right there. But his squad mates putting in a lot of work. And now it's just up to SNX, who was tagged and bagged right there, fellas. And there goes our first squad of Miramar eliminated.
That's it. So Farvoice, a good attempt. 1 elimination, but not enough to take down TGames, who will be a little bit lighter when it comes to their teammates, right? They lost 1, however, they were able to walk away with 4 eliminations from Farvoice. So good on them, TGames, a roster that needs to, accelerate themselves up the standings. We saw how much of an impact SLR made just from 1 game alone. TGames could very well be that roster to do much the same. Now, for TGames, though, Metal, they win that fight, but I think they're about to get into another one in maybe a minute or so, because I'm looking at Dauntless, and Dauntless is rolling up to San Martin, and therefore TGames is about to be in another 4v3.
We'll see if TGames will be able to come out of that, because they kind of only did a 1-building battle there, and I'm pretty sure the only loot that they were able to get was in that 1 building, both of those teams there. That's why that fight was so difficult. But now, let's see if they can loot fast enough for the next team that's going to be showing up.
Which I think is Dauntless. That's a team that it's kind of scary. You don't want them to roll in, especially 4 deep with all the loot, or at least more loot than you. X-Force is also in that vicinity around them, and here's Dauntless. They do got the vehicles. They've got the high ground, so they can overlook those hardcover POIs where TGames is below them, and Dauntless might actually break away depending on where they decide to go. But if it's not TGames, then they're going to run into another team, which is X-Force. So they're going to fight at least 1 team.
Gonna be using this hillside for cover. Low profile here. Bebe should be able to spot out the rotation, but most likely just relaying this information off to his squad mates here. So we're really curious to see what his teammates will be able to accomplish if they're going to set up some type of gatekeep action over here on the hilltops over here, as they do have the advantage. Oh, they did, because now Dauntless, they're going to be popping out here, doing some scouting, doing some leapfrog action of themselves. Free point with the mini, taking some shots down range, but that gave away their position.
Klaus abandoned his vehicle. He decides to kind of stay on top of that hill. Meanwhile, the rest of his force is going to be up ahead, taking hard cover. For X-Force, bit of a repositioning here. So now it's about chess at this point, Metal. It's about, who is going to be able to pincer in the roster. And I actually I still benefit X-Force here. And the reason why is I believe it's Aleem who's off on the off angle, if I'm not mistaken.
Isn't in the zone either, though. I think this is just a bad fight all around for both teams.
For both rosters. Oh! Klaus is down. X-Force takes him out, and now X-Force has the advantage. Dauntless might have to give up this fight. Sometimes, Metal, the best fight is one that you leave.
Yeah, I'm surprised we're seeing so many early fights on such a big map.
Well, sometimes it's hard to put the ego aside, Metal, especially when it comes to esports. You just gotta fight it out.
Yeah.
Can't underestimate the ego here, fellas. I mean, we saw it all last season in PMSL, right? With the runes fight that was very questionable, but hey, it is what it is. And well,
yeah, I hope we see a runes fight. I hope we see.
We
runes
will.
Fight.
Stars.
We're gassing it up. I mean, we gotta see it at this point.
You guys are hyping it up like it is. It is historical.
Stars is the one who originated that, Dave. Stars is the one who loved that ruins fight. Remember popping off day one? Last season? Or not last season, but spring season of PMSL.
It's the headliner, fellas. I mean, hey, it's better than the Tyson fight. Let's be real. But going over...
A lot of things are.
This Miramar match. But yeah, so it looks like Farvoice Gaming, they're going to be pulling off that one. They're going to be walking away with a elimination. Holy cow, though, this next circle. It is super small, straight out of Nepal, dead center in Impala. So they're going to have the pickings over here to see where they want to lock down very early on. X Factor down in the south as well. They might be able to set up a nice little gatekeep position for teams looking to use the southern coastal road to rotate into the circle. Meanwhile, we are really trying to get this vehicle up. And then,
they gave up.
Yeah, we're like, we're just going to go to the back seat. Hopefully no one saw that. No, we were watching it the whole time, but it's cool.
Yep. I love seeing stuff like this because even the pros flip their vehicles. Even the pros, even they can't even jump through windows. You know, some things are just way too hard.
That's it. Well, straight out of Nepal, they've got the great high ground. I like where they're currently at. It's a beautiful thing about Miramar having these long lines of sight.
Yeah, and they lost one of their squad mates, too. Huge mistakes being made.
That's tough. Well, like you said, mistakes. The pros do it. We can do it, too. Makes you feel a little bit better. We got down there. XYQ. Wolf might fire some pop shots, but at this point, just save your ammunition. Just kind of scout out, see what's around there for X. Oh, excuse me. He wants to take some shots on XYQ down low. Straight out of Nepal. Where do they go from here, Dave? Did they just stay where they're currently at?
Yeah, they're probably going to stay up here, just use all their ammunition and really just be a pest on everybody else. And hopefully from their high ground, try to third party, get a couple eliminations because that's the game plan. I mean, you're already committed to the hilltop, to the plateau up there, and that's just what it is. And unfortunate for them, they did lose one of their squad mates, and they still have Blaze kind of in the middle of this engagement right here. Unfortunately, we can see Blaze out there in the another mistake by the way. Another mistake by the way. But yeah, Blaze is kind of stuck over there. So Strand and Paul, they are very separated right now, so I don't really see them doing too much here.
This is an important fight because this is dead center of zone too, Metal. So, you know, you've got, what, 4 teams fighting in this vicinity. You know, arguably whoever wins this might even win the game. That's how important this engagement currently is. And whether it's Golden Eagles, XYQ, Inferno was around, and who knows, SLR also moving up. This is the fight to win, Metal.
There are so many teams that aren't even in the zone yet. So I know that this fight is going to get even crazier. And I don't know what these teams are expecting yet. Maybe they only think, oh, all the other fighting's going on somewhere else. But the zone's shrinking, and a big portion of this zone is in the water, and there's some islands as well. So maybe the zone will land on the islands.
Do you get weird and go to the islands?
I get weird. I want that.
You get weird, Metal.
Yes. I get freaky with those zone shifts.
I like it.
Part of the island. We might see a crazy zone in today's game.
So would you go to it?
This. Yes.
Would you go to it?
Yes.
You would go to it? Okay.
Scuba dive all the way over there.
Scuba dive. Bring
There's
the horse.
There's still some buildings on there. There's still some loot.
Bring the horse.
The horse can swim. Cars cannot. You know, there's some
actually.
Yeah. So the horse is kind of crazy. If you're by yourself, you can kind of have it auto run for you, and then you could shoot like you're from a western out of the horse.
Like a cowboy.
Yes, like a cowboy. It could swim, but like I said, it's not going to give you the same cover that a car is going to give you.
Sure, but
it'll give you friendship.
You are still a cowboy.
Give you friendship.
Yeah, you can feed the horse and everything. I would love to see people feeding the horse in these esports tournaments.
Blinky, good shots. That's going to bring down 2, and this is one of our favorable squads there that he's taken down, which, O2, a roster that was in first place, and I believe fully gets eliminated, if I'm not mistaken. No, they're not. They still have a couple, or still got Crow up, but it seems like another dud of a game coming out from the roster that came in first place by a long shot, Dave.
Yeah, fortunate for them, though, they did have such a nice cushion on the overall leaderboards, 40 eliminations yesterday, but that cushion is quickly disappearing, right? With, they had some eliminations game number 1, but not many placement points. And now looking at this game, only 1 point, right? So that point lead is only going to last so long if they continue to have these lackluster performances here. So yesterday, was it a flash in the pan? If you were to ask me right now, I'd say yes, right? But they still got 2 more games to go, so definitely some potential to kind of bounce back and show us what they're made out of, show us what we were missing out on yesterday here.
Sure. Well, and if you're just joining us on the Titan series, obviously this is week 1. They played yesterday. They're obviously playing today with 4 maps. Freddy can't get out of there. I don't even know where he gets shot from. Through
Look at that
window.
angle.
That was a beautiful angle from
Blaze,
whoever took him down. But I will say, so the whole point here, at least for the next 3 weeks, the qualifiers is to place top 10. You want to place top 10 so you can go to the Premier Finals in week 4 and play for $20,000. So, if you have a bad day, that's okay. You look at 0-2. Maybe they're not playing too well today, but that lead alone, maybe they can cruise to a top 10 to then play in finals. That's ultimately the goal. You're not going to win money at this stage. You're going to win money at the finals, right? So top 10, that's the goal. 3 teams out, and 2 heavy hitters, 0-2 and Dauntless, have been removed from the map. And we've still got that hotly contested and congested area, right, in these hardcover POIs. We saw some, some fighting taking place. We have seen some teammates fall, but for the most part, though, it's still kind of stagnated. But Metal, now look, as we do transition up, the island no longer in play. But now those teams who committed early on, like iNCO for the hardcover in the northern zone, it pays off.
We can't get freaky on the island anymore.
No, we cannot. Although it would have been fun.
They got to be shooting their fireworks off on the mainland. We're seeing the perfect example of what I'm talking about, how crazy the Miramar terrain is. Even with vehicles, it is so hard to drive. As we saw that one team losing out on 2 of their vehicles because of how crazy the terrain is here.
Terrain is crazy. Man, so much committed in the fight at Impala that no longer really matters anymore. Teams now have to rotate up to the next zone, which is it's going to be interesting. And at this point, I actually do like the teams, kind of like I said on Erangel, Dave, I like the teams taking priority on the edge of zone. They're going to have, most likely, they're going to be able to survive, most likely, until end game and get the bulk of their eliminations right as we get down, I don't know, to like the next or last 6 teams.
Big Blaze still making big moves over here. Let's see if Big Blaze can get some more eliminations. There's another one. Why do they keep pushing? This is Inferno pushing Blaze 1 by 1. And Blaze is saying, come at me, keep giving me these points. But going back to what you were saying here, Reflections, totally agree. I'm looking at a squad like Shining Legacy all the way up there in the north. They're taking their time. They got the edge of the play zone, and they are big chilling. Meanwhile, everybody else went into Impala, and it's going to be crazy making your approach out of that main city right now. So Shining Legacy playing it slow, playing the edge here on Miramar. They're going to be showing up in the late game with the whole squad alive. They're going to have the utility, the ammo. They're going to have their armor ready to go. So definitely looking at that squad to at least qualify top 5 here, game number 2.
And X-Force as well, right? They're going to be on that right side, currently uncontested. But it's all those teams starting from straight out of Nepal who have to rotate up all the way into the next hardcover POIs where NRG is currently at, and they're going to actually decide to go to the right side, which is relatively safe, a lot safer than going straight through Impala. But they're going to potentially get into an engagement with X Factor off to their right side. But meanwhile, we look at Ace of Spades. For Ace of Spades, very close to iNCO. They've got a shed for coverage, but iNCO also has a sneaky beaver who's going to be up here on this high ground, and he's got every single member of Ace of Spades in his line of sight there, Metal.
I'm a little bit worried about the way this zone's going to shift. If it's going to give these players coverage for buildings, or if it's going to be one of these open fields again like we saw last game.
Might be. PUBG Mobile Gods, how you feeling today? We find out relatively soon, in just about 15 seconds, where it's going to end up going. And for iNCO, I think they're still going to be relatively safe where they're at. I think iNCO's in a great spot here, Dave.
Yeah, I'm really trying to see if these grenades, I saw that last one kind of got like a bounce off almost, like off a backboard, and almost landed underneath the cover right there, blocking those sight lines. And we saw Rush trying to go for the repeat right there. Going to be holding on to the rest of their grenades here as we aren't getting any connections. But yeah, iNCO still going to be in the next play circle. Ace of Spades as well. And going back to Impala. Impala no longer in play. We had about 5, 6, maybe even 7 teams holding down Impala. They all need to make the move now here, fellas.
To make the move indeed. Golden Eagles looking to fly high. They were in a fight a little bit earlier. Luckily, they still have all 4 members up, so it's going to be good for them anyways. They do have teams in front of them, but they're not in the most danger at the moment. TG just above them. They'll have to eventually get into it. Blaze back into the elimination feed, taking down one of X Factor. I talked about Sons of Nepal having to rotate right. They might run into X Factor. What seems as if they do get into a little bit of a fight there, but for the most part, they'll be all right. And the zone has shifted. So what do we see here? Metal, right? What do you see from that zone? There's a lot of open space, as you were talking about earlier.
We do have a small portion of the zone covered up by water. So this is going to be pretty contested for 37 players. But we do have these weird, like a factory. So we're going to see what players are going to be using for cover, especially with this really, really cool terrain here.
Still benefits iNCO. We also brought up Shining Legacy earlier. You kind of, benefited them, Dave, and they still are chilling. They haven't moved up. They haven't tried to fight. They're not giving up their spot. But look at this open terrain. X Factor, Golden Eagles just behind them. You've got another roster, Maryland, just in front of them. X Factor, they're chilling at the moment. They're okay, but things are going to start getting a lot crazier as we move into Stage 6.
Yeah, X Factor really trying to flush out Toyota right there, trying to get the additional elimination point. But we saw they tried to push out over there, and they were getting shot, almost picked apart from straight out of Nepal. So they kind of pulled back to where their cover was. But over here, the Golden Eagles, they're going to be flying in here, fellas, trying to crash Farvoice Gaming. As we see Farvoice, they got one more player at least out there in the distance trying to survive just a little longer, because we pulled up on the tail end of this fight and the Golden Eagles were able to take them out, and now they're going to be able to get the spoils of war essentially over here.
Yeah, that last player from X-Force, he dipped. He's gone. The only player he has to watch out for is Vortex, who's going to be up ahead from Shining Legacy. But for the meantime, he's all right. Golden Eagles, good on them. Another staple in the Titan series. We've been talking about them for many seasons, always hyping them up, and we're looking at them to perform for Toyota. This is a great spot. Honestly, I can't hate on it. For Frankie, he actually might fall victim to Toyota's spot here, Metal.
And he's got a DBS. He's just got to wait for that perfect opportunity. And we can see iNCO here on the most crazy high ground ever that is still in the zone. So this could be their game.
I love their spot. I really do. I loved it before, 2 stages before. I like it now in Stage 5. I'm probably going to like it in the next stage in Stage 6, depending on where the zone ends up going. If they get blessed by it, they're chilling, and they are quite literally chilling. The only one outside of zone is going to be 7, but he's not far behind. And mind you, 7, he's in a great spot once again to hold back Ace of Spades, who have yet to be able to leave that hard cover day.
Ooh, yeah, Ace of Spades. We see them. They got a little bowl. They're trying to make their approach out. We see them with some grenades, some smokes. Oh, Toyota, though. X Factor, they're coming for Toyota.
Oh, he doesn't know he's there.
They don't know.
But they were throwing
Molotovs.
No idea. They were throwing Molotovs here.
Oh, where'd he go?
Toyota
What a
gets the
turn
final
of
lap
events right there.
At least he gets an elimination, right?
See, Metal, even in esports, just like your regular games, man, you're always going to have someone camping it out ready to take you down when you least expect it.
Never happens to me, man. I don't know what you're talking about.
Right? I believe you. I believe you. All right.
I'm flying in on that dragon. Oh, wow.
Okay.
Great shots.
I love seeing the long range sprays that these esport players, like, they got their sensitivity dial in. I know they go into training grounds right before. See how crazy the long range sprays they're doing. 100% the gyroscope on their phone is being pulled up to the max while they're hitting these crazy sprays. I love seeing stuff like this.
I call them wizards. I think they're wizards, man. It's incredible. It really is, and every esport is different, but PUBG Mobile, they're built different without question. SLR, just below that of iNCO. iNCO's finally getting challenged, and once they do get challenged, they at least lose one of them, and slowly but surely, SLR starts to work their way up the mountain. iNCO needs to hold them back, and it's very possible at this point. I'm saying it's a 50-50. I still benefit, though, iNCO with the high ground for SLR. Do they continue to challenge, Dave, or do they back away?
Well, both teams, they're currently being third-partied from the north, right? From Shining Legacy. So they're going to have to be very cautious of these angles when taking this fight, as we already see them taking that into a factor, right? Hiding behind this buggy, hiding behind that boulder, while also taking the engagement. But iNCO, they do have the high ground. They did lose one. SLR, they are going to be climbing the hill. But now, to make matters worse, here comes Ace of Spades. So iNCO essentially taking two fights at the same time right now.
Ooh, which is risky. Taking two fights opens you up for more error, but sometimes you just have to do it. Sometimes that's just a way of the fight. 6 teams remaining, and we do have some heavy scores at the moment. X-Force, for example, with 7 total eliminations. Granted, only down to 1 player. Hold up, though. Ace of Spades finding Glocky, taking him down. 7 now has to try and respond back, Metal.
You know, I thought that they had this. I thought iNCO Gaming was going to be the team on top of this hill, but they are slowly being flushed out, which is crazy because they had the high ground advantage.
Sometimes the high ground isn't enough. No matter what movies you've seen, that said it was. Sometimes it's not enough. NRG, though, has been hanging out in the outskirts, which they've been relatively quiet, at least in this fight. And the reason why is because they only have 2 players remaining. But now it's time to get to work. And for Ace of Spades, that's going to be their next victim. And great shots. You talked about that control, Metal. We see it represented here. Now Mambi might be the next victim. Jay Weezy's moving up.
Shotguns versus UMP, and it's game over when you have the shotguns out.
It is game over
all
indeed.
Day. 6 eliminations for NRG. Even as a duo, Reflections, they're still doing a great job just taking their time and really just backstabbing, backfilling all these squads ahead of them that were fighting on the hillside. So iNCO, they still got the duo. They're also going to be taking their time. They recognize, hey, we still got some opponents behind us, so we really got to flush them out before have the opportunity to move forward. And there goes Farvoice Gaming, finally eliminated, by the way, up there in the north. Farvoice Gaming, 7 eliminations, so they had a really good game here. Oh, make that 8. So they had a really good game here today here on Miramar, the only Miramar of the night. But looking at the zone, listen, Shining Legacy still big chilling up there in the north, so I'm happy, but let's see what happens. iNCO still playing King of the Hill.
Shining Legacy, like you said, chilling, but I want to see them get active now. This is the time where you start to get your eliminations. It's a perfect opportunity to flank people, maybe even get some third parties, especially where they are currently at. But for NRG, it looks as if their time has come to an end, but they'll take 6 elims. They were down to 2 players since really almost the beginning of this map, so they survived for quite a bit of time. They get some placement points alongside the eliminations. You got to be happy with that result. Now, your XYQ, I'm looking at Shining Legacy to put Trick into the dirt, and the reason why is I don't know if they are aware where Trick is currently at. Maybe they have to be now. He's been shooting. So Trick can play spoiler here for a team of Shining Legacy who's been hanging out for the longest time. I know they do not want to finish in top 6 with 0 eliminations, Dave.
Through the smokes, too. Trick is just not giving up here. The game sense on point, but now here comes Shining Legacy trying to get the grenades, trying to flush out Trick over here, and hopefully even get the third party, get the additional knock over there on SLR. And there goes Trick, finally done and dusted. The Golden Eagles also taken out. X Factor, baby, showing up here.
That 1 HP clutch.
Clutch indeed. X Factor now, 5 eliminations, 2 players remaining. SLR still alive, as you mentioned, with 2 elims, but only 1 player. The one that is the healthiest is Shining Legacy, and they are starting to wake up. They've got 2 eliminations, and they are looking like they want to take this win, and I think they definitely can, and this would be huge for them. Metal, they're coming off a 3rd place on Erangel with 5 elims. If they can pair that with the winner chicken dinner here with at least, I don't know, 5 elims themselves, they're looking like a consistent roster. And iNCO is now gone. We're now down to our top 3, Metal.
We have 1 full squad that might be able to clutch this up. We're going to have to see if SLR can play it super smart here to get a 2nd winner chicken dinner. They seemed they were really solid when they were fighting iNCO earlier at that hill, but it seemed like it was extremely contested by not just the 2 teams there. There was like 4 or 5 teams on that hill.
A lot of teams. And not to mention iNCO had that high ground for the longest time. They knew exactly what was before them. Super Lazy Reflex are out, but I'm happy with 3rd place. They paired that off of winner chicken dinner from Erangel with 14 elims. SLR showing consistency, much different from what they were showing yesterday. So Dave, top 2. It's a 4v2. Shining Legacy versus X Factor.
Yeah, Hyman looking to get a grenade across the road. Looks like X Factor, they're going to be split right now. They got one of their squad mates up in the north and the other down here in the south using this this roadside for cover. So we're going to be pulling up here just a little bit. But Shining Legacy, they have the numbers advantage. They got more guns. They got more grenades. They got it all going for them here. But they need to make sure to continue to play together as a squad. You got to keep that communication going here. It's got them this far. And they almost got the winner chicken dinner. But X Factor, they've been having a really solid game here. Game number 2.
I think it's going to be the utility that's going to ultimately do them in the end. It is, in fact, Shining Legacy, who are doing a great job staggering the nades that they're throwing out there, consistently keeping X Factor on their toes, forced to rotate around. Not to mention, they also do have the hard cover once X Factor apex that hill. I think they're pretty much finished. Good nades, though.
Wow.
At least take some damage off, but I'm sure they were wanting at least 1 elimination there. They do not get it.
I don't get how they are timing these grenades perfectly to hit them exactly where they are. Like, they're exploding in the air. They're not just landing. This is crazy.
Oh, they're great with it. Utility is everything when it comes to PUBG Mobile Esports, for sure. Utility matters without a doubt. Like you said, use utility before you use your gun. Shining Legacy, I like that they're patient here. Trigger discipline. They're not getting antsy. They're not pushing into X Factor. There's no reason to really get overly aggressive here. Now they're just trying to bait it out. No, hold up. Why did I just make that speech? And Dave, all of a sudden, they get a little bit antsy.
3v1 situation. They know where Hyman is. Hyman in the smoke's going to be popping up with the red dot. M4 going for the spray down. Swapping to the DBS. But here comes that monster truck, baby, to roll them down. SL Shining Legacy. Winner chicken dinner.
With 6 eliminations, Shining Legacy, they stayed on the outskirts of zone all the way really since, I say, zone 4, if I'm not mistaken, and they continue to stay there all the way until the very end. That was great PUBG Mobile play. Wonderful job from Shining Legacy. They go from 3rd place to 1st place. They're looking like a wonderful roster. They've also been a consistent team that likes to split. They do it off of the drop here on Miramar. When we go back to map number 1 at Erangel, they were even splitting in engagements, and it seems to be paying off. It's high risk, high reward, but the good thing is they understand where they are on the map. A great map number 2. Metal, that's your favorite map. Did it disappoint you?
No disappointment there. The only disappointment was the fact that we did not get freaky on that island. I wish we saw something on that island, but it was honestly super fun to watch gameplay like this high-level gameplay on one of my favorite maps in PUBG Mobile.
Oh, this is the Spider-Man clip, I believe. As we get a little bit longer, or who was it? It was one of the players who ended up going onto the ledge, and which I thought was absolutely brilliant. It didn't work out, but at least it was a good effort a little bit later on. But good stuff, obviously, from Maryland. They do a little bit better this time around than they did in game number 1. Granted, still 12th place with 2 eliminations, but they showed more life. They were eliminated off the initial fight. If you go back to Erangel, straight out of Nepal, though, Blaze, you were saying his name quite a bit throughout this map, Dave.
Yeah, and going back to Maryland, they might want to reconsider their drop spots, because even on this Miramar, They didn't get into the early skirmish, but they dropped El Pozo. Yeah, El Pozo's big enough for 2 squads, but they dropped next to Dauntless. So back-to-back games where they're really sharing drop spots with Dauntless, who is a dangerous squad. This is a squad I would not want to be next to here early game. So if I am on the bench of Maryland, I might want to reconsider that one. But all in all, Shining Legacy playing it nice and slow, really showing that at least in the 2 games that we saw here tonight, they're a consistent squad. You know, they got the playbook, they got the master plan, and they're sticking with it. They got the win. Sure, it wasn't flashy with 14 eliminations like we saw from SLR game number 1, but regardless, a chicken is a chicken, and they have been a really consistent team here so far tonight.
Yeah, without a doubt. And shout out to X Factor, too, with that 2nd place. That's a big game coming out from them. Game number 1, they get 5th place with 2 elims. So another consistent roster, not as consistent or as flashy as Shining Legacy, but still up there when it comes to the points. 11, they'll take that. iNCO, though, getting 13 medal. They played very well. They maintained that high ground. They were gatekeeping Ace of Spades for the longest time. They get 4th place just outside of top 3, but they get the 2nd most points out of all the rosters outside of Shining Legacy.
iNCO could have had an insane game if they were able to make it all the way to 1st place, but they still had such a good game with those 9 elims while they were staying on that giant rock that they were using as their cover.
They definitely could have done a little bit more, but I think they did enough to at least make an impact when it comes to the standings. I believe iNCO is also in 2nd place. They're going to continue to gain ground, Dave, on 0-2, who have 2 pretty much goose eggs, right, from map 1 and map 2. I think a total of 6 points.
Yeah, iNCO is a team. They got some veterans. They know what they're doing here, right? So when we look at these other squads who are trying to, maybe they come up from like challengers last season around, right? Maybe they're a new team coming together this season and trying to compete. You also need to take into account like there's squads with some good experience in the lobby, right? And once when you start making mistakes, they're going to take advantage of that. So even if you had a amazing day number 1, you gotta maintain that here on day number 2. So 0-2, I'm talking to you. I want the 0-1-2 here in the next 2 games. And what I mean by that is I need some more points here, fellas. Give me some more points.
Need more points, man, because NRG Gaming is catching up. They're doing a great job. They are, just 15 points behind now of 0-2. That is one good game. In fact, they get 13 last game, so they can definitely catch up in just the next one, or for sure over the next 2 if 0-2 continues to drop goose eggs, essentially. Only 6 points for the day. Another roster, though, is SLR, who, again, has gone from 15th place up to 4th. How high can they continue to go? Top 3, absolutely possible here, Metal.
Yeah, and also seeing a team like Ace of Spades, I feel like they have been very consistent being in the end game and getting those points. They could be a team that we should be looking out for as well.
Ace of Spades, game number 1, right? They get 4th place with 5 elims. Game number 2, we see them fighting tooth and nail against iNCO. They can't break away from the shed, but they still get 5 elims with the 9th place finish. Not bad from Ace of Spades, but this is where we start to get into a little bit of trouble. Still very doable to make it up to the top page, Dave. Who are we looking at?
Who we looking at? Listen, you already know who I'm looking at. Dauntless, all right? What are you talking about? You just trying to throw some dirt in my eyeballs?
100% win rate, even though they got 27 points, 11th place.
I ain't worried, all right? I ain't worried, all right? Dauntless, number 1, baby. Number 1, Dauntless. We got this.
Hey, Dauntless, number 1, but they're number 11th right now, okay? They do got some ones in their name, though,
They got
Dave.
some
I
ones.
give you that.
Number 1, baby.
Number 1s. They just got to drop an entire 1 from that 11, and they'll be all right in 1st place. There it is. 2 games down. It's been a lot of fun. We've seen Erangel, we've seen Miramar, and now we're about to move into Sanhok on map number 3. Been hyping up this Ruins fight. I hope it happens. I really do. NA loves Ruins, and I'm looking at Stars with SLR to be one of those teams to dominate Ruins. We'll see if they carry over the performance from spring season of PMSL. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, map 3 Sanhok coming your way. Welcome back, everyone, to the Titan Series Season 6 Premier Division Week 1. I'm Taylor Reflections Noble, joined by Mustache Dave and Metalcore. We're about to hop into map number 3. We're going into Sanhok. Metal, let me ask you a question. We've been talking about horses. You love these horses, man. When I look at Dave, does Dave look like potentially could be a cowboy from like the Western days? Would he be the guy to ride a horse in PUBG Mobile?
Oh, yeah, dude. I could see Dave with his mustache, with a cowboy hat, dual MP7s, lasering squads off of a horse, in the specifically in the Titan series against all these other pros. I could see Dave doing that.
I could see it. Or
Thanks,
a mobster.
Metal. Thanks, Metal. I thought you were going to ask him if I look like a horse for a second. I was like, okay, I'm out of here.
That would have been better.
I was literally going to just leave at that point. So I'm glad you didn't.
I should have.
I'm glad you did not. And shout out to Metal.
Man, if I could go back in time, dude, that would have been perfect. Dave, you're so good at your job, man.
What? No, I was literally going to do the opposite of my job because like, is he asking if I look like a horse? I'm out of here. So.
You know, Dave, you look like a good horse. Imagine a horse with just the solid mustache. That's
a horse with a solid mustache.
Legendary.
Okay, I like that. I like the use of the mustache horse. All right, map number 3. We're moving into Sanhok. We've been hyping up this Ruins fight. I hope it doesn't disappoint. But SLR is that team that typically loves to go to Ruins, and they're a team that fights tooth and nail, man, to lock it in. It is at the edge of the zone, or it should be the edge of the plane path. And SLR does drop. I think they're going Ruins. Does Dauntless, does NRG challenge them? Remember, it was SLR and NRG who love to fight at Ruins, and we're not going to get SLR there. But we might get 2 teams still there, though, Dave.
Yeah, NRG. I was going to say, like, I don't think it's happening, but NRG keeping it alive. NRG and what looks like Maryland. So Maryland trying to get wiped out real early on here once again up against NRG. Let's see what happens here, fellas. Ooh, what's going to happen?
Oh, 9999 doing it. I have to check up on who they chase their gamer tag so much. I got to figure out who that is. Bisky, though, great line of sight here. He's ready to gun down Casper as soon as he peeks. Jay Weezy, though, with his off angle, also looking to get somebody, and nobody's dropped yet, which is highly surprising. I was expecting some first bloods there, especially with all the shots, but everybody's just missing, like the villains in every movie, right? They can't shoot straight, and the villains right now are Maryland and NRG. Nobody can hit their shots here, Metal.
You know, I'm excited we're now getting freaky at the Ruins. I can't wait.
That's right.
The fact that they've already picked up DBSs is insane. Toyota putting in work with a DBS.
Boom!
Almost weapon swapping, making a clean clip, but I cannot believe how many people already have shotguns equipped.
That's right.
This is crazy. Look at that Casper going off.
Baby Tang, Casper taking down another one. Bisky also down. Jay Weezy able to pick up Baby Tang. Jay Weezy gets the full finish. He's down to a sliver of health, and Maryland's full sending through the choke point. Jay Weezy still challenging. He looks like he needs to actually goes from behind. It nearly works, but it doesn't end up paying off. And Dave, you're eating your words, man. Maryland looking to go on Earth. Yeah, you're eating your words.
Thank goodness, because back-to-back games, Maryland didn't lift a finger. So Casper coming out on top. Casper used to be on NRG.
That's
so
right.
Casper getting some revenge right here in the Ruins. So Maryland, sure. Listen, you won the fight, you won the battle, but let's see if you can win the war now. And that's getting the winner chicken dinner with this newfound momentum off of the rip.
Sure. Well, think about it, though. They do walk away with 4 eliminations, 3 players. So they can make that work, at least as far as I'm concerned. You know, one thing I want to say, Metal, about Sanhok, this was not always, but sometimes would be a North American map. And the reason why is because it's so chaotic. And I feel like North American teams love to fight, and they love to be in your face. They're not necessarily the most strategic at times, but they do have the gunny. And one of the things during PMSL, both spring as well as fall, that was very sad to watch, Metal, on Sanhok was North American teams would always fight each other. There were all these other regions, all these other teams. There's only 4 NA teams out of the 16 competing, and for some reason, NA would always cannibalize each other on Sanhok each and every time. But point stands, North America, Sanhok, they love it.
Were they specifically fighting in Ruins? Is that just where like North America likes to dwell?
2 of them. Two of them, yes, and then they would rotate out and typically fight the other North American team. I'm telling you, all four of them would fight within like the span of 5 minutes. It's ridiculous.
These early fights are so bloody and so brutal. And I'm wondering, like Dave said, Casper, was he the teammate that was on the opposite team that he was fighting?
Yeah.
So I wonder what goes through your head. Like, you're like, wait a second. I know these guys. I know how they play, you know?
Right.
Or does it make you panic more because you're like, oh, I know how they play, you know? It's always a crazy circumstance because, you know, as big as this game is, the esports scene is definitely very, you know, close together. A lot of people know each other.
Sure. Definitely do, especially at certain levels, depending on how high you go. There's a lot of roster changes. In Titan Series, you'll see a lot of roster changes taking place because some of the guys are coming off of PMSL. Maybe they didn't make it to PMGC, right? So they're like, okay, we need to figure things out, change things up. Let's see if I can play with these guys and maybe make an impact, make a difference. And why not? I mean, there's $20,000 on the line, Dave.
Yeah, there's one more option we forgot. It's like, or was it like, haha, gotcha, sucker. This is for kicking me off the squad.
That's true. Revenge.
Yeah. Revenge.
We didn't see any crate shooting. We didn't see any crate shooting. So maybe there's love there still.
Maybe there's a little love. Maybe there's a little love. But yeah, so they're going to be holding down runes here. Dauntless, they're going to be a little north of the runes here, looking for Dauntless to really start to fire on all cylinders. Ace of Spades going to be out there on the east side, not in circle number 1. Same could be said with straight out in Nepal. So a couple teams need to make their approach into zone number 1, but for the most part, all of our squads are going to have a nice little buffer between them and everybody else here. Looking at Shining Legacy, they are as dead center as you can get without counting like the water, I guess you could say. So they're going to be playing the long game once again, holding down that position and just staying alive, you know, staying alive for that late game, showing up with their numbers advantage, and hopefully looking for another winner chicken dinner.
Yeah, you know, at the moment, things are going to be pretty quiet. I think the only fight that might take place could be iNCO pushing into X-Force and then maybe even a little bit further in against Farvoice. That could be a fight because iNCO's going to have to get into zone, and X-Force is right there playing that edge. They're playing that gatekeeper role. X-Factor getting a couple of pop shots onto them. I still don't expect that to amount to much. That's going to be 0-2 who's getting some shots onto X-Factor who are just up ahead. So I think iNCO is going to be the next engagement, but even then, that's not going to take place for a little bit. But I do look at like teams like Dauntless to go against Maryland at some point. Maybe even Influence Rage, who actually might be getting into Inferno, my apologies, Esports, who might push into Maryland. So there's a lot of fights setting up, but at the moment, it's staying really quiet metal.
We do have some teams that are still like only, I think, 3 teams that are outside of zone right now. This is definitely very different from the Miramar and Erangel game that we saw where everybody had vehicles. I mean, that's the cool thing about Sanhok is the fact that there's less vehicles and you really have to use that strategy when you are playing this map. And I love seeing the way these players are using crazy, just like micro strategies. Like earlier, there was a fight. I think it was one of X-Force's teammates. He got lasered a little bit and he didn't want to use all his big meds. He's like, I'm going to use my little meds right now. Because that's thinking, oh, well, maybe I might not be able to loot. This is all I've got. And it's crazy to see the strategies that these teams implement depending on what map they're playing, depending on, you know, the scenarios and the situation. So, you know, it's really, really cool to see the way these teams are playing depending on the map. I mean, we only see like a few vehicles on this map list right now.
And
that's because
vehicles, it's I guess, Dave, it's almost better really to go on foot at certain points on this map.
Yeah, without a doubt, because when you're in your vehicle, you never know who might be over that hill, right? And if they're on their foot and they're over the hill, they're already set up. They're going to have their guns looking right at your car, and they're just going to let it rip, right? So can't be shooting out the driver's seat. So it looks like Farvoice Gaming all piled up in their US. They're going to be pulling out here for the time being, doing a little bit of scout action, looking ahead at boot camp to see if it's free and clear. They are going to be right smack in between a couple members of Force Gaming, but FV, they're going to be grouped up. So in my opinion, they have the advantage just because the whole squad is able to support each other just in case they do get into a skirmish. And you guys were both talking about iNCO kind of behind all of these squads, all two of these teams that is up there in the north. So it's going to be a challenge for these squads looking to make their approach into this circle. That's a fact.
I do look at X-Force, curious how their split's going to work, because you've got one who's all the way at boot camp. You've got Bebe, Alim, who's going to be up top. Freepoint's kind of by himself. He was spotted by Farvoice, I was surprised they didn't push into him. Granted, again, you don't know what's over that hill, kind of going back to the car talk. You don't know if they're going to find the rest of the roster over there. You could be walking into a trap, essentially. But their split is going to come together slowly but surely, but they're still going to be split, and in the middle is going to be Farvoice. So that's going to be an interesting fight if it ends up going down. But as I said before, things are going to be still relatively quiet. Nobody really fighting, which, Dave, this is kind of unique. You know, on Sanhok, I'm used to like 2 or 3 teams being eliminated by now.
Oh, you're going to get it, man. You're going to get it, all right?
Oh, I know.
You're going to get it here. But, yeah, I mean, we saw the hot drop, and Runes and Maryland really haven't moved the muscle since then. Honestly, they're just happy to win a fight here tonight. So they're going to be holding it down. We saw out there in the distance, what was that? 0-2. That's honestly a team that a lot of expectations just because they had 40 eliminations last night. I haven't seen much from them here today. I think they had a total of 6 in the last 2 games combined. But Star Z, homie, is pressing the envelope, getting his car stuck between a rock and a tree right there. And you know what? He's like, yeah, there's a team here, fellas. There's a squad here. You know, because Star was scouting, right?
Right.
The thing is, when you're scouting, you obviously don't want to get eliminated in the process. So there goes Star, one of the highlight players of SLR here tonight. Unfortunately, going to be eliminated.
Well, the good news is he found somebody.
He found he found a team, so he knows that there's a team there now.
Scouting mission wasn't a failure per se, even if he did lose his life.
It was a success.
It was a success and a failure at the same time. So, SLR, Golden Eagles. Meanwhile, iNCO on your screen. So this is where iNCO, I think, does get into a fight, and it's going to be against XYQ, who's up ahead. And iNCO is tanking a lot of damage from zone, quite a bit. So this might be the final hill before Trick maybe decides to challenge from just up ahead. And for XYQ, they can collapse in easily onto iNCO Gaming. And you know, iNCO's a roster that's looking to catch up, Metal, right? Catch up to first place with 0-2. So this is a big moment for XYQ, even bigger moment for iNCO to stay alive.
So many of those iNCO players are just tanking that blue right now. So they're going to really have to play strategically. They're the only team out. There we go. Strategies vanished. Grenades, that's what you use.
That's it. Grenades ended up working out, and at least pays off for the time being. Still more work needing to be done, but XYQ iNCO strikes first. And iNCO's still 4 strong against Zone. How stressful is this day for iNCO, right? They know they got XYQ in front of them. They're getting that constant tick. It's not a lot, but it's at least enough to be annoying.
Yeah, that's what I mean, I'll answer that in a second, but I wanted to ask Metal, like, when he's in game playing from the blue, because you were talking about iNCO in the blue, like, does it add the pressure? Like, what's the mindset playing from the blue here, in your opinion, Metal?
You got to play so careful because these players will land their shots. You're not playing against some random classic squad guy, you know, dad just got off his 9 to 5. He just wants to play some PUBG Mobile. You're playing against the best of the best. These dudes play PUBG Mobile every single day. And, you know, clearly a lot of those days they're playing these types of rooms. They're not playing the classics that I play. So I feel like Blue Zone is way more dangerous in this situation than it would ever be in any other classic mode.
Yeah, we're calling him Papa Blue out here. Reflections.
Papa Blue. Papa Blue indeed. Oh, TGames is also moving up. So now you got TGames, XYQ, and iNCO all in the same vicinity. And for iNCO, they finally break Papa Blue, but thank goodness they don't have to fight against TG, because I'm thinking to myself, man, iNCO goes from out of the fire into the frying pan, essentially. But they're going to have a little bit of time now to rest up and recover from that loss that they took against XYQ a little bit earlier, Dave.
Yeah, TG really threading the needle right there. I mean, just driving right between iNCO and XYQ and able to get away without really losing anything in the process. Like you said, after getting involved moments ago. So they caught a good little break right there. They're going to have some hard cover to work with for the time being. And talk about teams not catching a break. The Golden Eagles, so they're going to get the pickup. We got Ace of Spades. We got INFERNO Esports. Golden Eagles right between them. Fortunate for them, they only lost one of their squad mates so far, but the next circle that I don't care about this fight. I'm going up there to boot camp. So the pressure is on these squads down in the south who now need to make the move. So we got two big fights essentially happening. We got the Golden Eagles, INFERNO, Ace of Spades. That's what we're watching right now. And then remember, Maryland, they were in ruins for a long time. Dauntless were holding them out. So there's going to be two separate focal points to look at right now with the new circle shift.
Oh, Dauntless was able to pick up Becker, but Tensa will also fall. Maryland managed to take down a Dauntless member a little bit earlier, so they at least make them bleed a bit, but Dauntless ultimately wins that fight. So once Maryland moves out of ruins, they only get one more elimination out of their good effort. And so now Dauntless can continue to move up. The awkward thing about Sanhok, though, Meadow, is these the water points, right? And now with the zone as it currently is, you're going to have teams on both ends of the water. If I'm looking at Shining Legacy, if that zone continues to move forward towards bootcamp, which most likely it's going to, they've got to cross the water, cross the bridge. You've got teams looking to gatekeep them, such as Farvoice, right? You've also got teams pushing behind them, such as Dauntless, INF, right? So this is not an easy map to play, especially with the zone like we're looking at, Metal.
This is definitely going to be a bloodbath for these players pushing into the zone. There's going to be so much going on because we still have so many teams. And there goes SLR eliminated, one of the teams we've been looking at all day. Now we're going to have to see what team can come out of this. This is kind of like, at this point, it feels a little bit RNG to me because we'll see where the zone shifts and a lot of teams are going to start getting eliminated right now.
I think so. This is where things start to get bloody. I mentioned how quiet it was at the start. I questioned Dave. Look, man, I'm used to 2 or 3 teams being eliminated by this point. Well, now we've lost 4, and many more are about to be lost as well. Ace of Spades might be one. INF also losing one to themselves, or excuse me, to X Factor. And, of course, Farvoice, who's been at a stagnation for a while. They got into a bit of a fight against iNCO a little bit earlier. Now starting to wake up once again, getting some eliminations. That puts them up to at least what I think one elimination, but I'm sure more to come. 0-2 down to the last player. Golden Eagles also on the edge, looking to take down Shining Legacy, who's now on the back pedal, Dave.
Yeah, Shining Legacy, they were holding down this position since circle number 1, but now it looks like they might have gave up their flank. Golden Eagles taking advantage of that. Golden Eagles were able to breach that compound, take out a couple of the members from Shining Legacy, leaving just a duo now. And to make matters worse, it's not in the play zone. But hey, look out there. We got the horse. Metalcore. We got the horse. There's
look
the
at
horse.
Look at him go.
We got we need the horse cam.
He started just walking.
Horse cam. All right.
We stepped to the side, Metal.
Cars don't do that.
Where's the horse going?
I bet you that horse was put up against the buildings and just slowly made its way to go eat some grass or something. That's why I love the horses. They don't listen to you like a car.
I have never seen anyone get so hyped up. Maybe the Queen, rest in peace. But like Metal, like he took a step to the side. Look at him go! Look at him move! Look at the horse! I need a replay of just that moment. That was great.
I need a replay of the horse.
Saw them thread the needle a little bit earlier to get inside zone, and they might have to do it again. X Factor above them. They know that zone is going to be just behind them. They're now going for a res. This is definitely going to test what TG is all about because X Factor are looking to take them down as soon as they pass just up ahead, and they've got to go uphill. So TGames, like, tough spot, Dave, for them to get out of. X Factor looking to gatekeep them.
Yeah, X Factor looking to get some eliminations. They got the high ground. They see the play that TG is trying to implement here, work their way up the hill with the smokes. And it looks like Malcone is going to be connected on right there. And X Factor with the boulders, the alternate angles, the additional height advantage are just going to be able to pinpoint all of the squad mates from TG right now, leaving just a duo. And they are struggling. Papa Triste was able to survive, trying to get the off angle. But honestly, Papa Triste is playing a solo mission at this point, in my opinion. And there they go. So X Factor getting some eliminations here. You'll love to see it.
And Meadow, you can see how punishing the zones can be, more specifically how punishing innocent rotations may seem, but X Factor, right? TG keeping them at bay. It's so tough to play at the top competitive level. What might be an easy rotate in classic game mode, right, in your regular games, might be impossible at this level.
Oh, most of the time there's like one team left in a zone like this. So it's rare to see zones with so many teams fighting for just the inches of ground. It's like a crazy battle that these teams have to put out here at the very, very end game. Use every single utility that they got. I feel like you start seeing more and more use of everything in moments like this, in these stages of the match. But I'm so surprised that we're seeing a boot camp end zone. And I mean, previously I saw people were swimming and drowning trying to get in the zone.
Esports, baby.
They could have used the horse. I don't know why they're drowning, but I think it's because they don't want to give the other teams elim points.
That could be.
Yeah.
And speaking of elim points, he said, no, you're not drowning. I need that.
You're not taking yourself out. I'm taking you down, okay? I need that point more than you need the L. 4 teams left, and Meadow, if you had to give your patented headband away to one team that's going to take it all here out of the 4, who you giving it to?
Looking at zone, honestly, it could. Oh wow, this is
headband's
a little,
on the line here.
Yeah, you know, I gotta make sure
as well. Sign.
Sign, yeah. Oh, my horrible signature, bro.
Me too.
When they ask for my signature, honestly, XF has the high ground, but they are in zone. They are barely in zone, so I'm gonna have to give it to them until we see what next zone's gonna be. We got 4 teams here.
Straight out of Nepal, now they're center zone, right? And they've got 4 members up. Let's keep that into account too, Metal.
Yeah, and honestly, they were doing pretty good the last Miramar. They just weren't able to fully put out a show in the end game. So let's see what they could do end game here.
Okay, so the headband, what, going to straight out of Nepal?
You know what? Straight out of Nepal. Let's go.
Let's go.
Okay. Straight out of Nepal. It's on the line. Things just got serious. No longer 20K. We're playing for a signed headband. I don't care if the signature is subpar, whatever. Like, it's still signed, okay? I'm sure you can flip that on eBay
with a
for
picture of him
$1 million.
signing it so you know it's authentic.
A video and a picture, so it's authentic. Well, there it is.
I'm glad I didn't do. Yeah, sorry. Oh, sorry, X Factor.
Glad you didn't choose X Factor, okay? Because they're out, and now we're down to our top 3. So X-Force, XYQ, and straight out of Nepal. Now, the thing that's interesting is X-Force is on the opposite side, but they're being gatekeeped. The smokes are out. We talked about how important those smokes are, but now he has no more left, and XYQ hasn't been in the line of sights, and really all X-Force can do is just kind of sprint towards cover, and I don't even think that's going to be enough, Dave.
Yeah, X-Force, they are dead to rights. You got 2 squads looking to get these eliminations on you before focusing on each other. Valak actually going to be popping out their safety and comfort of the hard cover, trying to pinpoint where free point is to get the free point here. But it's heating up here. So we got straight out of Nepal, metal cores, headband sign, video, everything on the line. We got XYQ. They are down a member. They're going to be down Trick. So they're going to have the numbers disadvantage. But straight out of Nepal, 7 eliminations so far. We saw Blaze last game really putting on a good show, so we know Blaze is feeling it here tonight. And now it comes down to this. Just 2 teams remain here. And guess what? No more circles. It just straight up centers up from here on out.
So XYQ with the off angle straight out of Nepal, though, knows exactly where they are. It is a 4v3. A little bit of hard cover still there for straight out of Nepal. Granted, that fence line is putting in work for XYQ. That shed, though, it's about to become a death box. If the nades connect, and they absolutely do, straight out of Nepal will take the win. The headband goes to them with 10 eliminations, and good on them. The highest placing they got was 11th today, so they go from a high of 11th place to now a winner chicken dinner in game number 3 with 10 eliminations plus the headband medal. That was a good call.
You know what? You can never judge. You know how they say never judge a book by its cover. You can never judge a team by its placement on the leaderboards. Love to see that. Guys, if you want a blue headband, red headband, I got a couple different colors. Let me know.
Uh-oh.
One teammate, though, one of your teammates will get the headband signed.
One of the
What? Hold on, I thought we said 4. 1.
4, bro. I barely got 4 myself.
You don't have to get a Meadow. If you want to, you do it. If you want to send us one, you can. Dave's forehead. Actually, Dave's forehead's not too bad. I'm not gonna lie. It's not shiny. It's not.
Listen, as they say, you can't judge a horse by the hay it eats here, Reflections. All right. And we saw the horse here this game putting on a show. I'm not gonna lie, Metalcore. I thought you were seeing things throughout the night. I'm like, a horse? Where's the horse? But I am happy that we saw the horse because that confirmed it for me. We got the screenshot. Horse is in game, and that horse was. It was doing some things here on Sanhok.
You know what I'm saying?
Horsing around.
It was he lost it too. I love that. That was a great react. Look at it go, man. Look at it go. And meanwhile, it's just casually just grazing grass out there out in the open field. Good start, though, for Maryland, right? They get a bit of a victory taking down one of the... There it is, to zoom in on the horse. Look at it go. It turns around. Golden Eagles, man, they were there. They got into some fights as well. They actually did a good job, I thought, in high-pressure situation. They only walk away with 3 eliminations, but they were in some really tough spots pretty much from zone, or I should say stage 4 onwards. But we get towards the ends, and you got to give a commendable respect towards Straight Outta Nepal. The way that they handled that final fight against XYQ, great utility, 20 points. That is a great number of points for them to take home. But the big one to pay attention to is, well, first off, iNCO Gaming. iNCO was trying to catch up to 0-2. They've been doing a wonderful job today. Granted, 0-2 only gets 4 total points. But iNCO, this is their worst placing yet. They've got to finish off strong if they want a chance to overtake first place. But Straight Outta Nepal, big wins, Metal. You got to give it to them.
Congratulations on the headband. Honestly, it's crazy to see some of these higher ranking teams from day one. Like you said, once they're on the broadcast, it starts getting a little bit crazy, and we're seeing them not perform as well as we would assume. Even from game 1, we've been looking at Super Lays Reflex. They got 0 points that game. And that's how important just getting your placement elims can be in a tournament like this.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. And it's about finding that balance, too. You know, finding the balance between placements and eliminations. And Straight Outta Nepal had the best of both worlds there. 0-2 will break 80. They currently sit at 82. iNCO Gaming needs a pretty standout game on Erangel map number 4 if they want to try and overtake 0-2 in first place. Either way, you cut it. They're going to be in a very comfortable position. Ace of Spades just below them. They're Straight Out of Nepal. But one thing to take note of, Dave, we go to Maryland in 5th place, then SLR, and on down, right? From 42 to 37 points. That's all that separates 8th place from 5th. It's getting close.
Yeah, SLR, what happens when Star gets eliminated early? They get 0 points, and that was my fear. You know, once when the highlight player gets eliminated early, how does the team react, right? So hopefully that's not going to be the case moving forward. Hopefully it's not, me seeing the tea leaves in the tea or whatever the saying goes. You know, I'm just making stuff up right now.
Okay.
But yeah, SLR, not a good game considering they came into today winner chicken dinner with 14 eliminations game 1. But I guess the same could be said with my squad, Dauntless. You know, I said Dauntless, they're going to be taking this one easy peasy lobby. Okay, I can admit they've been struggling here tonight. Doesn't mean they're not going to finish number 1 at the end of the season, but with one more game to go, Dauntless, I'm starting to sweat here. Dauntless is getting a little hot here. You know, please, let's get some points on the board so I at least look a little smart here tonight.
Smart. Yo, always smart there.
Even when you're a horse with a mustache, you are the smartest man in the room.
Smartest man in the room.
And none of us are in the same room. So yeah, I'm the only man in this room. Makes perfect sense. All right.
Yo, that's actually hilarious, bro.
Appreciate
All right. Well, there it is. 3 games down.
So I'm not smart. Hold up. I'm just joking.
You're a smart guy, man. You are the smartest in your room. Like you said, you're the only one there. That's 3 games down, 1 more to go. We're hopping back into Erangel, and for Super Lazy Reflex, their chance to reclaim glory, to finish off strong is here. Can they go back-to-back Erangels? Well, maybe. They got 14 eliminations and the winner chicken dinner in game number 1 Erangel. Can they replicate it in game number 4? We'll find out all that and more when we come back from the break. Welcome back, everyone, to the Titan Series 6. Titan Series Season 6 Premier Division Week 1. I don't often mess up my intros, but when I do, it kind of sucks. I'm Taylor Reflections Noble, joined by Mustache Dave and Metalcore. We're about to hop into map number 4. Maybe it was the Oreos I just ate that like totally messed me up. They were good though, but it's Sugar Rush, without a doubt, dude. They're vegan. They're great. They're golden. Okay, look. Map number 4. Let's get into it, Meta. What are we expecting? What are you expecting? What do you want to see on the final map of the day?
What we saw in Erangel, I want to see that, but just in a whole different area. That is just a weird zone again, just not in the same area. That's what I want to see. I want to see something weird. I want us to get, not island weird, not island freaky, but I want it to be another weird zone where this is like, oh, this is why I like watching PUBG Mobile, because it's always different every single game you jump in.
I've only seen it once. And Dave, I don't know if you were cast. I don't think you were casting with me. Maybe you were, or it was Hot Jukes, but we had a end zone on bridge. It was left bridge going from military. That was a weird zone. Only happened once, but I hope we get it again. I think that would help Metalcore out with the weirdness he wants.
Yes. Something is going on with our PUBG Mobile creators. They are getting weird, man. It's that time. I mean, have you seen Dab Play's last YouTube video? It's getting weird out here. So I don't know what's going on. I think since
look at it, Reflections. Don't look at it. Don't look up Dab Plays this video.
If you tell me not to look at it, I'm going to look at it. What are you talking about?
By the way, Metal, you've been killing it, man. Your channel has been killing it. So if anybody who's not familiar with you, definitely go check out Big Homie's channel. But yeah, shout out to all the PUBG Mobile creators. And I think it's a really cool addition to have them tag along this season with those Reflections. It's been a lot of fun here tonight so far.
Yeah, without a doubt, man. I love that. Like, again, I said at the beginning of the show, I'll say it right now again. It's like I love the cross between esports and content creation, and I really do think there's a middle ground. There's a common ground between the two, and they both support each other in very different ways. I think the content creators, they bring in the casual community, and the casual community says, well, I'm playing this game all the time. I'm loving it. But is there a way I can maybe compete, right? So then they transition into esports, and I think vice versa. Those who come in straight competitive into esports, they also like the casual, content creators. For example, Metalcore, right? And I think that's brilliant. I think that's great. And it's a beautiful way to just keep everybody involved. Because Metal, let's face it, right? Esports, it's very niche, it's very specific, but then content creation is very large, it's very broad. You can kind of cover everything, and I think both of them together, it just creates a beautiful thing for gaming.
I really think that if you do involve yourself in the esports community, it's very tight-knit, it's very cool, but you will really, really improve your gameplay to the next level. Because my wife, I met her kind of through the PUBG Mobile community, and she was in the esports side of the community. I was in the content creation side. We kind of knew about each other, but we never talked. When I started playing with her, when I started watching her, play like these scrims or these tournaments, I'm like, this is just so different. And when you start changing your mentality as just a regular classic gamer, and you watch these, watch something like the Titan series, we watch these gamers play and do things that, like in Miramar, I saw these guys jump on a shed that I thought you couldn't even get on. They are doing things at a professional level, and us casual newbie gamers can really take a lot from that. We can really learn a lot from these esports players and the hours and hours of dedication they put. They know these maps like the back of their hand. So you really... And they horse! Horse!
No way.
Yes!
Yeehaw, partner!
Here we
go!
Whoa! What's the gravity? Are we on the moon? You just jumped over two crates.
Last update, there was double jumping horses. It was a double jump horse. So this is just a basic horse, This is just
This is a basic horse?
This is a basic horse.
How high can they go? Can they jump over a tree?
Maybe. If you calculate, not this one, but there was a double jumping horse. And you know what? Okay. When I got on my horse, it's purple flames. I got a crazy looking horse.
Oh, well, for elite, it's nothing but flames. He's burning up. He gets taken down. And, well, you've got the competition now starting to push in on him. And from a horse to nades to 0-2, waking up. Well, it's about time, it seems, but it doesn't mean that they're thriving. Foops will also drop himself. Capri will pick up another. And it's not a clean fight, but it is the first time we're seeing 0-2 at least do something, Dave.
Yeah, you hear the horse coming, just grenade yourself, honestly, at that point, because you know you are in trouble. So let's see what can happen. X-Force down to just a duo here, Bebe and Free Point. Bebe with the DP. Pronin right now, anticipating the push out right now from 0-2. There was ever a gun to get the duo wipe here early game is definitely the DP, but they're going to be swapping that bad boy out as I'm gassing up that weapon. No problem. We're going to be crawling up just a little bit closer here. Going to be popping
he's got
up.
The honey badger. So
he's got the honey badger. I like the DP, but he's got the honey badger, and they aren't aware because Bebe has got some tall grass to work with. Oh, there we go. There's
nice. And there's Crow. Now you can focus on Capri just up ahead. X-Force looking to finish off this fight. Take down the top dogs. Put them in last place. And it's looking like it very well could be possible. Ooh, nice. Oh, no, not nice enough, Megan. What a read that was. Metal, that was a great read.
That was an amazing pre-fire. I mean, both of them were trying to make a play there. One with the shotgun and one with that pre-fire. And that was beautiful. Now we got NRG rolling up to X-Force Bebe.
Pull up. We got the M249 over there. Yeah, baby. Listen, you had a nice little elimination, but that's going to be okay. You got the shotgun. You got the second story. 3 point is on the approach. Ooh. Nice little Molotov right there to stop the push. Oh, there's a shotgun slug to the dome right there. But this is NRG. NRG, I guarantee you, they're going to be getting this one in the bag here.
And Jay Weezy, by the way, is J7. We love our J7 plays, and 999 is 24K. J7 takes down Bebe, says your time is up. X-Force is eliminated. We also lost 0-2, but you got to give credit to X-Force with the 5 eliminations. The plays from Bebe were great. He put up a fight to the very end. You love to see that. And for NRG, Metal, this is a team that I want to see step it up. They've been hit or miss over the last 3 maps. This is the map I want to see them finish off strong.
Is this one of the teams that Dave was hyping up?
I think Reflections, but NRG. Here's the smoke cannon, by the way. But NRG, there was, and now it's gone. But they're a team that's been in competitive for a hot minute now. They've had I want to say they've had their shining moment, and then it kind of dissipated when it mattered, right, on the main stage. So it's a rebuilding phase right now, and yeah.
Oh, look at that! He keeps recalling his horse. He used the horse flute to recall. There's a horse flute, Reflections.
Are you serious?
Yes, there is a horse flute in your inventory. When you get on the horse, you could go, and then... Yeah, I'm not even joking.
Cardi
you must
B
think
right
I'm
there?
joking, but I'm not joking.
Metalcore, listen, when you say something, I take it as religion, brother. I believe every word.
Goodbye
okay,
to the
don't
horse.
use that to your advantage. But Metalcore, I believe you. If there is if there's a flute that goes... And it calls a horse? But how many horses can you recall, man?
Just
is it only one?
One.
Just one.
Okay.
It's not like all the horses in the entire Erangel.
How cool would that be? How cool would that be? X Factor, super lazy reflex. X Factor's pulling up. They're pulling up deep, and SLR seems to be into some trouble. And in fact, they're already gone. I wanted it to be a strong ending, but now I'm starting to see how yesterday went for them, Dave, right? They finished off with only 9 points. Today was a lot better, but it's off the back of one game. That one game was pretty much all we got from them. Granted, game 2, they get 3rd place with 2 eliminations, but SLR... We know with the Stars roster, they could be highly inconsistent, and I'm afraid we're starting to see that. It's only 2 days in. You know I get carried away. I'm sounding the alarm bells, but, SLR, inconsistent.
Bells. Yeah, you know what's even crazier is I just read the rule book. If you win a game on the back of a horse, that's the tournament right there. You get the $20,000.
Stop, don't do that, because chat's going to take that to the bank.
Oh, no.
Okay.
A new rule. It says by Metalcore, by the way. Hey, Metalcore, you can edit the rule book, man.
I gotta say, that was for a headband, not the entire tournament.
Apparently, it's not a flute. He whistles to call the horse. He whistles.
No, who said that?
Who said that?
You want me to call him out? I'll call him out.
It's a flute. It's in your inventory when you get the horse. You know what? We gotta stop horsing around.
Is the horse guy here. He's got a video on his channel about it. I think he knows a thing or two about horses.
Speaking of which, what's the next video with horses? Because I'm interested in one. How high can a horse go? What can you truly jump over when it comes to a horse and the double jump?
You know, with horses, they got no fall damage. You can jump off a whole mountain and they'll survive. So I don't know about cars.
Cars are last year's meta.
That's
2025, all about the esports horses, baby. And I'm looking
there we
forward
go.
to it.
Okay.
We got some
little extra shots. Little extra shots.
You know, it's kind of crazy. This game, a lot of teams are getting elimed very early on. We're seeing a lot of early fights in this match. Maybe because it's the last match of the day, people are getting a little angst, like little anxious, they just want to get that action. But we're seeing some fights that we did not see for the first 3 games.
And you know what's even crazier? Reflections is I don't even think I paid attention to any of that, man. I've been thinking about the horse the whole time.
Hey, Meadow, you got to keep Dave on track, all right?
That's the
you got to
truth,
keep Dave
man.
on track.
I've been thinking about the horses the whole time.
He's been thinking about a horse with a mustache.
I was about to say, dude, we're on the same wavelength, man. He was thinking about the horse with the mustache and the cowboy hat he could put on, along with the Takova's boots. Like, he's about to go all out, brother. All out. But you're right. Metal, for what you said, you are right. You're starting to see the teams get a bit more loose, and I think it's because it's the final game of the day, especially for those rosters that haven't done anything over the past 3 maps. They're like, well, dude, let's risk it all. And after all, we do have 2 more weeks, right? We got 2 more weeks of the qualifiers. If we can at least score top 10, we're going to be okay. That's the goal. First place is great, looks strong, and the bonus points do matter. I want to keep that in mind, and we'll talk about that as the weeks get further along towards the finals. But regardless, though, top 10 is the goal. So certain teams do get loose, Metal, and that happens, right? Sometimes it's the first map, sometimes it's the last map.
I love to see it, though, because I love seeing these really action-packed fights with these very strategic teams, because all of a sudden, strategy out the table, let's just start sweating on each other, 1v1, 4v4. You see stuff like that running into each other. I love seeing the very last match because you always see some craziness, like, ensuing.
Definitely. Oh, that zone. I like it. It's not weird, okay?
It could
It's
be.
not weird, but it can be if
There's
it
a
goes to that left
possibility.
side bridge.
Come on, PUBG Mobile. Let's see how freaky you can get.
Oh, here we go. Open fight. Scottish moving in. Scottish has been a great player today. He's had some highlight moments, and he's taking on an entire roster by himself, and he's making it look good. He's going to manage to drop yet another one, get the full finish, but his job's not done. He'll continue to get challenged, and finally, the car will take him down, but not out just yet. Nate can still make something happen along with SNX and TG. Losing players left and right. Gotta be careful. Actually, excuse me, they got all 4. That was thinking about INF. But regardless, for Nate and Scottish, do they have what it takes to get out of this situation, Dave?
Yeah, it looks like we are going to be getting the pickup over there onto FV, so Scottish should be revived, and honestly needs to send some flowers because INF with the third party really forcing TG to pump the brakes. Here comes Nate with the M4, but now the mini red zone from TG. Scottish going to be up, back on his feet, going to be cooking it, going to be tossing it. Let's see, baby! And that is going to be applying some pressure, some damage, but Scottish not done yet. DBS in hand. We got the shotgun battle happening right now, fellas. And there goes Scottish with another one.
I'm thinking I'm Scottish now at this
Here
point.
comes
He's making me a fan of an entire nation. He's not even from Scotland. I don't know. Don't fact check me on that, okay? Please don't. But Scottish is looking great. 3 eliminations. That open fight was incredible. Nate got him back up. In fact, yeah, got to shout out the entire team of Farvoice. This is the best fight I've seen from them yet, Metal.
You know what? I swear I've played Classics with Nate before, and it's insane seeing the way he plays. You know, these players, when they play Classics, that's like a typical just whatever. But when they start playing, like, you could see the real strategy, the real gameplay, you know, when they get into these custom rooms, when they get into these esports matches with these esports rules, it gets crazy.
It's getting crazy now. Throwing, we know him, he's Coops. He's moving up. He's on the hunt. And Farvoice trying to get away, at least at the meantime, man. They're just hanging up. By the way, Scottish is from France. Scottish is from France. But his name is Scottish. I don't know the lore. I want to know the lore. I really do now. Why do you name yourself Scottish if you're from France? That is things. Braveheart fan? I don't know. Is that Scotland? I don't. Maybe I'm wrong. It's been a while since I watched Braveheart. TG in a little bit of trouble, and it's going to be Coops dropping one. And I think he's just going to pause there for a little bit. Actually, we're about to cruise up. I'm liking what this looks like, man. We're going in deep. Dauntless is on the hunt, Dave.
Yes, sir. Another fact, Toyota actually drives a Ford. But getting back into this here, Dauntless, Klaus going to be connected on right there, trying to make the wrap around TG. We got a squad mate in the garage. Doesn't even matter. There goes Coops right there to seal the deal. But they did lose one of their squad mates in the process. Next circle did pop, by the way, and that's why we're seeing all the chaos right now, because when that circle popped, we only had about 2 squads in it. NRG out there in the fields all by themselves, but here comes Farvoice Gaming looking to flush out straight out of Nepal.
Straight out of Nepal off of victory. They're looking to go back-to-back, but they've got some heavy hitters in front of them. Granted, they're looking pretty good at the moment. XYQ is out. That was X Factor, who was able to get the best of them. There's Blaze in a car. He's scouting out. Scottish is separated by himself. Question is, does Blaze want to challenge that? I don't think so. With the way Scottish has been playing Metal, I'd kind of keep my distance.
This is definitely a zone that's going to be really hard for people to play with. There is so much action going on, so much third parties, because there's still a lot of players left. I think we're going to start seeing teams, maybe not Scottish though. And honestly, I wonder what his accent is with Scottish from France, but his name is Scottish. Would love to get him on the mic here. Hear what he sounds like.
I definitely would. I definitely would. He's got a good record, by the way, like a lot of first place. If you look him up, he's done incredibly well. He's been on some great rosters in the past. Twisted Minds is one of them, by the way. He was on Twisted Minds during the PUBG Mobile Championships in 2024. He's earned a lot of money. I think he's earned more money than my entire esports career. So I shout out Scottish, man. It makes sense.
Shout out Scottish.
Hey, he's playing well, and it makes sense. He's got the pedigree to back it up. This is a quick lobby. A lot of teams have already dropped. It's kind of night and day compared to the first Erangel, and it goes back to what you were saying, Meadow, about the teams getting a bit more loose, right, and playing a bit more reckless. They're feeling themselves. They're feeling great. As we do look at the overall map, I love where NRG is at. They got Mixie in the beginning. They got some eliminations up to 3. I'm happy with that. Now they've got the dead zone of map, which means to me they can set up very nicely for the end zone and go for placements at this point, Metal.
This is where you're going to really have to use those vehicles if you do have them, because there are some little hay bales in this area, but it's going to be a really, really, like, we're going to see tons of smokes, tons of vehicles, blown up vehicles. I feel like this is going to be a really cool end zone from a viewer perspective. But from a player's perspective, you're like, no, guys, we got to go. We got to find a spot. We just got to smoke it out.
Smoke it out. Give an update. Scottish is by himself, by the way. Center zone. Rest of his roster has had an unfortunate ending. Straight out of Nepal, though, they're still very strong. 4 strong, in fact, with 4 eliminations. Looking to go off of, or be our first team, anyways, for Titan Series Season 6 to go back-to-back wins. Very possible. And for Dauntless, inside the shed. Dave, we've seen so many teams resort to go into the Shed of Doom, and I fear that might be the result for Dauntless.
Yeah, they might be able to survive a little longer right now, just given the fact that there's a couple teams in the area also looking at this shed. So pushing this shed is going to open you up to the third party, right? So for the time being, Dauntless should be able to survive a little longer. Will they get the win? Most likely not. Can they get a couple more eliminations? Yeah, sure. That would be the best case scenario. Currently sitting on a total of 5 here. So looking around Dauntless, though, you got Scottish a little south of them. We can see the little purple indicator on the mini map in the top right-hand corner. Scottish to solo, and a little further out, you got the Golden Eagles straight out of Nepal and iNCO. But popping over here to X Factor on the pull up here. Whoa. Up against the Golden Eagles, wiping them out. X Factor, 11 eliminations here so far on the final map of the evening.
That's crazy because there's still 8 teams remaining. X Factor can drop at least an elimination record so far in Season 6, which at the moment is 14, set by SLR on Erangel, map number 1. X Factor well on the way to doing so. They're only 3. I have no reason to doubt why they won't be able to achieve that now at number 12. That is an impressive game. You know, Metal, when you think about regular games versus esports, What would be a good comparison eliminations for a team, right? What would you say a good amount of eliminations is for a casual game versus an esports game?
I feel like in a casual game, you got respawns, respawn cards, bosses, flaming horses, double jumping horses. You got grappling hooks. So it's like bare minimum, you want to get 10 elims on a good game in classics, but 10 elims in an esports tournament, that's amazing. And
it's tough.
It's a really big, very huge difference, because one player getting 10 elims in classics, oh, you did okay. But a whole team getting 10 elims in a tournament like this, that's amazing.
Incredible, isn't it? It's hard. It's so, and you've seen how hard it is from the punishing rotations to the masterful use of utilities and just the ability to beam players off of a horse, off of a vehicle. Right? It's so hard at this level. It really is. But for X Factor, making it look easy. They're a talented roster and one that could very well make a bit of an impact here when it comes to Titan Series. And I mean, after all, they already are. iNCO is a team I want to see do well here, and I want to see them start heating up here, Dave. And the reason why is there's still a very small chance that they can overtake first place over 0-2, but they're going to have to pick up, honestly, probably 2/3 of the eliminations still left on the map.
Love this little panda US skin too, by the way, from iNCO. So iNCO, going back to what you're saying, they got 4 up. They had the previous circle. They had some hard cover, but now the circle did shift out there to the east side. So they're going to be working with the fields. And right beneath them is going to be NRG, who's been in this area for a hot minute now. So we might see those two teams kind of clash at it back and forth. It does look like Shining Legacy were looking to possibly rotate around this area in the previous zone, but now with the new circle kind of going to be doubling back around. But X Factor in the north still just popping off. They are not done yet. Oh, avoiding the run over right there. That's the squad mate, and that's going to be straight out of Nepal. So X Factor looking to take the fight up against straight out of Nepal right now.
Yeah, the fact that they're taking this straight out of Nepal is impressive. We've seen how good they are. Blaze has been on fire. Straight out of Nepal's been slaying out. I cannot believe how close to... Yo, is he going to jack it? He gets in, but they spot him. Almost a 5,000 IQ play, but he gets caught out. Spence is done. Straight out of Nepal has been eliminated, and X Factor are now your elimination leaders for Season 6 Titan Series at 15, and they could very well go for a 20-bomb medal.
What did Metalcore say at the very beginning? I was like, is that Chiffon's team? The homie? Yeah, they're going to do good. They're going to at least get one good game. And yeah. I'm happy to see that. I'm proud of them. 15 elims. That is it's hard. Because like you said earlier, every elimination you are fighting tooth and nail for. It's so rare that you get to actually get a freebie in tournaments like this.
All right, now things start to get weird and out in the field, out in the open. And well, for 24K, he's going to be opposite of 7, and we are going to see at least one drop off from X Factor. Or should we know, X Factor manages to drop yet another one. 20 is easily going to happen as far as I'm concerned. And for iNCO, looking to stay alive as long as possible and clear that gap between themselves, and 0-2 is currently in first place. But this open field's going to do no favors for really anybody. But I do want to make a bit of a caveat, Dave. Scottish is still alive, by the way, and can very well place top 3.
Okay, top 3. We'll see. He's going to be in the hard cover for the time being, right next to Dauntless. So hopefully Dauntless can get the one up on him, get that extra elimination. But yeah, Scottish has been popping off in this game. But NRG driving through the smokes with the drive-by 9999999 with a nice little elimination right there. Be proactive, making sure to take out that squad, iNCO, before moving forward into the circle, because listen, you called it. Scottish, the zone magnet right now. Still going to be big chilling right there.
Yeah, Dauntless might challenge him, but for the meantime, Scottish is chilling. He hasn't been challenged.
He's alive.
He's okay with that. He's alive, and that's all that matters. X Factor continuing to place the pressure on anybody that they see. You've got Ace of Spades still on the outside looking in. They look to work their way in whenever they possibly can. X Factor, though, is going to be the thorn in their side, and they're looking to take them down anywhere they can. In fact, I think Ace of Spades might be dead in the water even where they're currently at because of X Factor's positioning. You
got to be careful because X Factor could get too big of an ego and be like, oh, this is our game. We're in it. But
they have been pushing.
But the train wheels can start stopping the moment one bad thing goes on for them. So if one of them, like this, if one of them has the possibility of getting elimed away from their team, this could be the downfall for them. We'll have to see how they clutch it up against Ace here.
That's it. They've got to go into recovery mode. They dropped one player. Is it worth it going for the res, or is it worth it just full sending? But Ace of Spades, knowing what that drop, they've now covered some ground and cleared some distance, and they also are playing around with their cars going onto the flank. So things are starting to get a bit chaotic, and X Factor has to read this properly if they can. And Versa's going to be the linchpin as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, he takes a little bit of damage, but he's keeping X Factor on their toes. They don't necessarily feel so comfortable because Versa is there to run you over. The nade's close. Versa has to avoid, and he does so, Dave.
Let's see. Still going to be alive over here. X Factor on the hilltop. 16 eliminations, so they were able to pick up their squad mate who was knocked down, but not knocked out here. X Factor. This has been the most eliminations I believe any squad has accomplished here tonight. Versa behind the tree in the smoke, spotted, tagged a bad kiddo, getting third-partied, hitting the dirt right now. Hyman, though, has his number, trying to take him out. Kiddo, 50% HP. Hyman almost connecting the final shot onto Kiddo, the last one alive right now for Ace of Spades, but holy cow, X Factor, almost 20 eliminations here.
Ooh. Yeah, and once Kiddo falls, that is going to be 20, and Kiddo is gone, making it 24. X Factor, a massive game. 14 was the high of the day from Map 1 and Erangel with 14 eliminations from SLR. They have managed to surpass that by 6, and they very well could get 23, maybe even 25. Dauntless, NRG, FVSL still alive. Big games from them, mind you. 7, 6, and 6. I'm happy with that, given their performance in the past. But X Factor, the Shining Stars, the Grim Reapers, and Dauntless losing a player, unfortunately. Or, excuse me, that player will get picked back up. I apologize. But at this point, teams are starting to dwindle away. You mentioned that ego medal. Well, the ego for X Factor is still there. And honestly, I don't think anybody can taper it off.
Sometimes the ego is a good thing. And they did lose a teammate, but they still are the strongest team out of all the teams right now. Scottish getting eliminated. Super sad to see. NRG taking his place. We're going to have to see. I think X Factor is going to still have the high ground, so this looks like this game's going to be in their favor. This could be a massive, massive game where we're going to see them push heavily up on the leaderboards. To top it all off, for the viewers at home, in day 1, because this is day 2, day 1 had the top elims was 14. So in the whole tournament so far, this is day 2 of the tournament, this is the most elims a team has gotten.
By far. By 6 eliminations, which is massive. Massive, to say the least. And now they can finish off with 25, depending. Shining Legacy off at a distance. He's by himself. NRG Dauntless, opposite of each other. Things have slowed down to a crawl at the moment. X Factor doesn't want to give up their high point. And why should they? 24K, though, a very interesting spot on the roof. I think he can make a bit of an impact play.
Oh.
And J7 with a great shot onto SL. So Shining Legacy's now out. We're down to our top 3, Dave.
Yep. NRG, 8 eliminations. Dauntless, 7. And X Factor with 20. X Factor with 3,300 total damage done. Dauntless in their death shack right now. Toss out some smokes, but X Factor, they got all the angles, they got the position, and they are waiting for Dauntless to pull out and get some more eliminations in the pocket here. NRG across the way. The duo, their position also going to be compromised. We're only in stage 7, so we have some time to still work with here in the final game of the evening, but this is without a doubt looking like an X Factor win with their numbers advantage and the high ground, but we'll have to see. Can they close this night out here on a high note?
I will say I do like where NRG is currently at, too. I think NRG is in a great spot despite them not having the numbers with only 2. Dauntless, give or take, again, that shed is not going to be easy to break out. You've got X Factor looking right at you. Dauntless in a tough spot. They really can't leave. They also have NRG at their backside. impossible position to be in, and unfortunately for Coops, he's going to take quite a bit of damage. You just can't get out of here. So at this point, I do think NRG is waiting for Dauntless to drop, and then they challenge X Factor. And then, yeah, you're right. I think X Factor probably does get this win based off of that. Great nade, taking down Coops once again, but you could tell, Metal, they're just in survival mode.
That nade, it hit the window seal. It did not go inside. That would have been an insane elim. Dave has been hyping up Dauntless all day long. I want to see them put in some insane clutch right now and get the win.
Be hard though.
Again, I know.
Yeah, pincered in. I would love it though. I want to see Dave get a win.
I would love it.
He needs one.
Horse Dave, get a win.
Horse Dave.
They got 7 eliminations. Yeah, they're probably going to get taken out, but still 7 eliminations with the 3rd place. All things considered, it is a solid game here. Taking into consideration how their evening has been as a whole. I was expecting 4 wins, honestly, from them. But hey, I still got some more stream days to see if they can clutch that one out. But they are going to be eliminated here, making this a 3v2 NRG versus X Factor here for the win.
So for X Factor, NRG. Top 2 position for both of them. They know it, but who wants to get first place? X Factor has managed to get up to 21. Do they want to hit 23? It's very possible, but I still think NRG's in a scary spot. I really do. Granted, Zone is going to collapse down into nothing, so both X Factor and NRG are going to have to push forward. But with that hard cover, and also with 24K on that roof, I still think that's a potential power spot if these nades somehow continue to miss. I think NRG's a lot stronger here, Dave, than probably X Factor thinks.
Well, it centers up, so NRG, yeah, he got the rooftop, but once when he peeks over there, his head's going to be exposed first, and Iman's going to be taking that one off. So I'm feeling the X Factor here. And there goes 999. So this is good. This is going to be an X Factor win without a doubt. 21 eliminations here. Almost 4,000 damage done. Like X Factor, other teams were playing loose. X Factor, they were locked in here in the final map of the evening.
21 eliminations. That is crazy. Absolutely nuts. X Factor, I can't remember where they were at on the standings, but geez, that's going to be such a massive game for them to jump up. Huge game, Metal. And Metal, you were here for it, right? 21 eliminations in a game, in a lobby such as this, right, where the best of the best are competing against each other. It's just crazy.
I feel like sometimes you just get that team synergy going, and you just have that really, really good match. And it's PUBG Mobile. I swear, some of these events that I've been part of, they do bring esports players in, and they could lose too, because again, it's not just about how good you are at the game. It's about the zone placement, the movement, what loot you get. Those things are still RNG based, and the teams have to adjust, and it's how you're going to be the best adjusted team to get that W. And the fact that they got 21 elims, fighting tooth and nail, that is a big chunk of the lobby.
Without a doubt, and I'm calling it here. X Factor was the best team of the day. Oh, that horse jumping over was crazy. And the fact that's not even like the highest you can go is just, it blows me away. But X Factor was the most consistent team of the day. Despite us not shouting them out, we were, talking about SLR a lot, Ace of Spades, at times Dauntless, right? So we go back to map 1, X Factor, 5th place, 2 eliminations. Map number 2, 2nd place, 5 eliminations. Map number 3, 4th place, 7 eliminations. And then they finish off 1st place, 21 eliminations. They were by far, between Dave, the best team of the day, and which is shocking because yesterday off stream, off broadcast, they were way down the leaderboard with only 10 points.
Hey, like you said, when the lights are on, man, when the lights are on, we show up, and X Factor just having one heck of a game here to end the night. And it wasn't just one player. The whole squad was putting in work and doing an equal amount of damage. Coach 7-7 had a little more eliminations with 8 in total. But regardless, like the whole team really working together as a unit. We saw they had one of their squad mates knocked. They immediately prioritized picking them back up, keeping the numbers up. Right here, they're looking for the guy. They already knew where he was. We know that trick by now. Yeah, we knew that trick by now. I mean, but all in all, like X Factor, they were just playing like a well-oiled machine here in this final match of the evening.
It's just impressive how they were pushing fights, and you said it right. They were pushing confidently. They were playing very well. X Factor knew today they were the best team, Metal, without question, and they utilized that and they took advantage of it. For them to finish off this strong is just incredible, and it comes to show you anything can happen. 31 points, Metal.
What a massive amount of points, and I cannot wait to see what these points will do for the main leaderboard. But we also have NRG Galaxy with 15 points, Dauntless with 12 points. Dave hyping up Dauntless. They finally made it into the top 3.
They do, finally. They do get there with 12, Dave.
They get it. Dauntless showing up in the final game of the evening. Maybe not getting the win, but getting some points on the board, so that way they're still going to be listen, regardless of how they play, they're going to be a talking point the whole season. I mean, the whole team is just stacked with legends, so definitely keep your eye on them. But really, what I'm looking at here, guys, 0-2. Where was 0-2 today? They had 40 eliminations yesterday. Number 1 coming into today. Yes, it's only one day. Yes, it's only 4 games. I get it. You know, we're not working with a lot to really run with right now, but when you get 40 eliminations yesterday, you come in today not doing much, you're kind of scratching your head, you know, from an outside perspective, because we were looking at them, we were anticipating, oh, this team's going to be the team to watch. What happened today? You know, that's what I want to know.
Yeah.
That's my question here.
It's about consistency. You know, you get towards the finals, you're going to have to be consistent. You get one day to make it happen, one day to earn yourself the bulk of $20,000. Can you remain consistent on both days of the week, right? Because they play on Sunday. They also play on Monday, which is ultimately broadcasted. Same goes for Super Lazy Reflex, another roster that came out the gate swinging. I'm thinking, wow, this is the team that I've been waiting to see, right, when it comes to the Titan series. And then they fizzle out. And it's like, well, where'd they go? You know, they got a good placing, I think, in the map number 2 on Miramar with 2 eliminations, but that's a far cry from the 14 elims winner chicken dinner they got just a map before in Erangel. And then the last 2 games, let's not even talk about it. It was just bad. But X Factor comes to show you that they're here to play. They are looking great. You know, Metal, you mentioned Chiffon, right? Obviously helping them achieve some victories. And they're looking good, man. I'm liking it. Let's look at our standings. Metal, where does everybody fall?
Let's see what we got here. 0-2 had such a solid first day that they still solidified their first place. But check this out. X Factor pushing all the way up to second place. I'm loving to see the leaderboard shift here. Last game, you could really see how much one game can really have an impact on these standings.
Sure. It's incredible. You know, iNCO, I was putting so much of an emphasis going into the final map, Dave, about iNCO Gaming catching up to 0-2. And nobody catches up to them, right, because of their performance yesterday. But X Factor, I did not expect them to be in second place at the end of the day. I really thought it was going to be 0-2, iNCO, and then everybody else.
What was that last game, right, for X Factor, honestly? I mean, 21 points. Game 1 tonight, they had 2 eliminations. Didn't really see much. Game 2, they had 7 eliminations, and I guess game 3, 5. So they've been pretty consistent all night when it comes to like placement points and elimination points. But this last match was just what shot them up, you know, put them over the top. And iNCO, they've been consistent here tonight as well. Between the 2 teams, it's a toss-up for which one's going to be at the top come the end of the season. But regardless, both teams have shown such an improvement with the new additions to the roster, and from last season, you know, the last seasons that we did see them in competitive. So both squads, tremendous job done so far.
Look at the second page. Good news, though, you know, harping on SLR, the reality is they do jump up to 9th place. They started the day in 15th, and they only have 9 points, mind you. So they were able to get 31 across the 4 maps, which is fairly decent, quite honestly, from SLR. And they're not too terribly far away from breaking in to the top page. They're already within top 10. So if you stop the tournament here and now, they already go to the finals. So they're in a good spot. They are tied with X-Force, who showed a lot of great promise. Farvoice, I'm excited to see them. You know, Metal, despite them being in 13th place, yeah, they've got a lot of catching up to do. But that final game was exciting. And I know we were harping on Scottish and joking he's, you know, France and what's the lore. But like Scottish really did put up a wonderful performance. Like one player can turn around your entire team's performance. And for Farvoice, I think it might be Scottish.
You know, it's always important to have each key role in these esports games. It's not like you could solo squad when you're playing classics and stuff. Scottish, when he turned into a solo, he said, hey, maybe if I could pick off some elims or survive, that will help my team. And like I said earlier, each of these full games are so important to rack as much points as you could possibly rack up in each of these games. The second half of the leaderboard, they can have one good game like X Factor, and they can be pushed up to the main top 10 of the team. So really, it all depends on how good your team synergy is, how good the match is going to be, and what ends up happening, at the end of the day.
That's it. And I think through the qualifiers, Dave, right, the important thing is just to continually improve and get yourself ready for finals.
Top 10, that's the goal. Top 10, you make that next round, $20,000 total prize pool. And tonight was only the second night in the saga of the premieres out here for the Titan series. So, hey, it was a great night, Metalcore. Super fun hanging out with you here tonight, big dog. Reflections always, lighting the candles, all the fun talk. Appreciate you, my man.
Appreciate you, Dave. And you don't look like a horse, man. You look like a cowboy ready to ride off into the sunset. You're a gorgeous guy, man. You even got your horse flute. I'm sure of it. Metalcore, great. I will echo the sentiment that Dave said. Great working with you, man. You got a lot of great knowledge. You'll be back next week. I do believe it is on Monday. But as I'll give you the floor, what's your final words as we get out of here?
You know what? I love the Titan series. I love what PUBG Mobile has been doing with this series. And I love seeing all these teams really, really put their all in this $20,000 tournament. And again, I want to emphasize the fact that they also are being super inclusive with the female league as well. So really, really excited to see all these professionals really just kill it in these tournaments and see how far they go for the finals.
That's it. Love what we're doing for Titan Series Season 6. We've made it a long way, and again, it's been going on like 2 years. It's great, and we love having each and every one of you out there. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you have not already, follow us on socials. We'll keep you up to date with all Titan Series action. For myself, Taylor, Reflections, Double Mustache Dave, Metalcore, Production Crew, and you in chat, thank you so much for being here. Be back again next Monday for day number 2 of the Titan Series Season 6 Premier Division. We would love to have you. That's one down. I think one more remains from Inferno. Smoke's out, but it's going to dissipate. Look, he's got 2 to the left. Or 2 to the right, 1 to the left, and there it is, a GG, a winner, chicken dinner, soup. Shiny Legacy, I like that they're patient here, trigger discipline. They're not getting antsy. They're not pushing into X Factor. There's no reason to really get overly aggressive here. Now they're just trying to bait it out. No, hold up. Why did I just make that speech? And Dave, all of a sudden, they get a little bit antsy.
M4 going for the sprayed out, swap it to the DBS, but here comes that monster truck, baby, to roll them down. SL, Shining, Legacy.
Jay Weezy able to pick up Baby Tang. Jay Weezy gets the full finish. He's down to a sliver of health, and Maryland's full sending through the choke point. Jay Weezy still challenging. He looks like he needs to actually goes from behind. It nearly works, but it doesn't end up paying off.
It's not in the play zone, but hey, look out there. We got the horse. Metalcore. We got the horse. There's
look
the
at
horse.
Him. Look at him go.
Is a 4v3. A little bit of hard cover still there for Straight Outta Nepal. Granted, that fence line is putting in work for XYQ. That shed, though, it's about to become a death box. If the nades connect, and they absolutely do, Straight Outta Nepal will take them.
Really?
And they
horse! Horse!
No way.
Yes!
Yeehaw, partner!
Here we
yes!
go! Whoa!
Whoa! Yeah, he got the rooftop, but once when he peeks over there, his head's going to be exposed first, and Iman's going to be taking that one off. So I'm feeling the X Factor here. And there goes 999. So this is good. This is going to be an X Factor win without a doubt. 21 eliminations here. Almost 4,000 damage done.